Middle Heaven Domain? There's about half a year journey till Middle Heaven Domain. The abstruse immortal studied Yimo's flying magic artifact and answered. Middle Heaven Domain? There's about half a year journey till Middle Heaven Domain. The abstruse immortal studied Yimo's flying magic artifact and answered. This is in the void. Yimo asked in shock. He didn't understand why these people dared to collect materials in the void. But seeing they weren't interested in talking, Yimo could only send some immortal crystals over. After getting the immortal crystals, they clearly was more proactive in answering. Yimo soon knew that this was still the void, but the realm domain void rather than heaven domain void. There was very little void flying snow in here. It was lucky that Yimo's void flying snow could fly to here. Void Star Continent was just an outpost star in the Middle Heaven Domain. It moved very slowly and had its own atmosphere. Some outpost stars can stay in the void for hundreds of thousands or even millions of years. The Void Star Continent was this place. Many immortals from the Middle Heaven Domain came here and go into the void to capture void flying snow or some forgery materials. Because Void Star Continent was not far from both the Heaven Domain Void and the Realm Domain Void. So some Heaven Domain immortal ships would choose this place as a stopover. There were many immortal ships stopped on this star. These ships would drop off some immortals and take away some. Yimo also knew that the nearest Heaven Domain here was called Zongpiao Heaven. It would take less than half a year by immortal ship to get over. Hearing this, Yimo couldn't help exclaiming that the void flying snow was too fast. It just used 2 years to come here. Even that immortal ship he was on before wasn't this fast. 10 days later, Yimo easily found Void Star Continent with the jade slip the two gave him. This place wasn't small indeed. Yimo's spirit sense couldn't even scan to the ends of it. There were marketplaces and immortal residential areas. But Yimo really didn't like this dull gray place. He didn't need to ask other people and immediately dragged Jin Bingyu over to the immortal ship station. The immortal ships here could go to a few heaven domains, but Yimo chose the nearest heaven domain without hesitation. Luckily, he still had about 3 million immortal crystals. After buying 2 tickets and spending 2 million, he was in poverty again and only had 100,000 immortal crystals. Aboard this ship, Yimo finally breathed easy. This ship was much better than that Tangfeng Heaven Domain ship. At least after paying a ticket, there was free room. Even if you went to other places, you didn't have to pay immortal crystals. In the extremely large Piao immortal ship station of Zongpiao Heaven, there would be tens of immortal ships passing here every day. Today, an immortal ship stopped here. Tens of thousands of immortals got off. Some soon released their magic artifacts and disappeared off into the distance. Some stayed at the station and didn't leave. At this moment, 1 man and woman got off too and left the station. The male immortal was abstruse immortal middle stage. He was only average compared to the countless handsome male immortals in Zongpiao Heaven. However, the female immortal next to him was extremely beautiful. Even the ordinary blue dress she wore couldn't cover her extreme beauty. It was as though even the most beautiful goddess in Zongpiao Heaven couldn't compare with her. With her soft steps, the immortals nearby all had an urge to go protect her. Such a pretty goddess, all the immortals who saw her praised. "Martial brother, where do we go?" the female immortal asked the male immortal next to her. Hearing Zhen Bingyu's question, Yimo didn't answer. He looked at the shining sun and said, "Finally, we can see sunlight again." Then he said, "Let's find a place to ask around. This is our first time here." Yimo saw there were mostly abstruse immortal or above around him and knew the immortal levels of Zongpiao Heaven were much higher than a low heaven domain. The immortal spirit chi here is much better than Gonghua Heaven. If I can recover, it's quite good to cultivate here. Zhen Bingyu sighed. The immortal spirit chi here was indeed much better than low heaven domain, but to Yimo, just having a little more immortal spirit chi wasn't enough. At the square in the station, there was a huge display screen in the center. Many immortals were watching the information on it. There were big and small things. Secret realms opening, void adventure teaming, auctions, and level 7 immortal spirit herb information. Martial brother look. Zong Piao heavens blue, lightning, mountains blue, lightning immortal well is opening up. Inviting all immortals there for body refinement. We can go check it out too? Zhen Bingyu asked. To Zhen Bingyu, it seemed that Yemo cared about immortal wells a lot. Yemo stayed at that low-grade immortal well for half a year in the Chaos Star realm, and he knew lightning element cultivation method. Yemo was looking at this news too. It was very hard for his cultivation to progress now. It wasn't that his talent was bad, but his cultivation resources couldn't keep up. Yemo knew the benefits of immortal wells. It was the fastest he had seen ever since reaching Hollow Immortal, but he saw the conditions below it. It seemed very generous inviting everyone. But in order to be invited, one needed to satisfy some criterias. Those to go in must be top 50 on the Zong Piao contribution points leaderboard. He didn't even know what Zong Piao contribution points were. Two friends. Are you not from Zong Piao heaven? One abstruse immortal tertiary stage heard Zhen Bingyu's words and asked. No, Yemo answered. The abstruse immortal tertiary stage said, no wonder in the 11 middle heaven domains. Zongpiao heaven is the one invaded by demons and beasts the most. Places like the Lanyu forest and Pingpiao plains have completely become the domain of beasts and demons. Some sects there were forced to migrate to. If it wasn't for a few immortal king masters guarding Zongpiao heaven, perhaps it would completely turn into the lands of beasts and demons. Zong Piao contribution points are calculated based on the amount of beasts immortals killed. It's useful anywhere in Zong Piao heaven. It's even more useful than immortal crystals. You can exchange them for immortal crystals even at other heaven domains. If you've just come, then you don't need to go to Blue Lightning Immortal Well. There are only 100 spots, 50 for Great Immortals and 50 for Heaven Immortals. The spots have been set already. Just look at the huge tablet and you will know. Yemo and Zhen Bingyu's glances focused on a huge tablet next to the display formation. There were 3 rankings. One was Heaven Immortal Zong Piao contribution points. There was 1,000 rankings. The second was Great Immortal Zong Piao contribution points ranking, 1,000 ranks too. The third was total 1,000 rank. Most of the names on the total ranking was Great Immortals. Yemo saw that the number 1 on the Heaven Immortal ranking was called Su Ji with 37 million points. The number 1 of the Great Immortal ranking was more than 100 million. So this news is useless then? Zhen Bingyu asked. The abstruse immortal shook his head. Not completely useless. There's still a year until the well opens. Many people would hunt beasts like crazy for it or use immortal crystals to buy the heaven domain contribution points. Yemo asked in confusion. Heaven domain contribution points can be bought. Of course, 1 contribution point for 20 top grade immortal crystals. This is a public price, but because it's so favored, it's often sold for 30 to even 50 immortal crystals for 1. The abstruse immortal said. Then what about the demon beasts? How much contribution points for killing one? Yemo asked. That abstruse immortal didn't think Yemo was planning to get into the top 50. He answered quite precisely. Demon beasts are immortal spirit beasts that have mutated from devouring too much demonic chi. 2 level 1 demon beasts can get 1 contribution point. 1 level 2 can get 2. Level 3 demonic beasts can get 5. Level 4 demonic beasts can get 30. Level 5 can get 80. Level 6 can get 200. That abstruse immortal didn't think Yemo was planning to get into the top 50. He answered quite precisely. Demon beasts are immortal spirit beasts that have mutated from devouring too much demonic chi. 2 level 1 demon beasts can get 1 contribution point. 1 level 2 can get 2. Level 3 demonic beasts can get 5. Level 4 demonic beasts can get 30. Level 5 can get 80. Level 6 can get 200. Hearing this, Yemo knew that no matter how powerful he was, he wouldn't be able to get top 50 within a year. The top 50 of Heaven Immortal was nearly 10 million contribution points. It was impossible for him to kill that many demonic beasts. If the demonic beasts stay at a certain place, why don't the Immortal King Masters go annihilate them? Yemo asked. The abstruse Immortal shook his head. There are also level 7 and above demonic beasts. They usually don't appear in the settlements, and they have a tacit agreement that as long as status immortals don't annihilate ordinary demonic beasts, those high-level demonic beasts won't casually slaughter immortals below status immortal. Yemo realized why there was no status immortal ranking now. Both sides were gathering power. The winning factor was still how many status immortals one had. Pingpiao Plain. This was the first stop Yemo and Zhan Bingyu came to at Zongpiao Heaven. The main thing was that there were a lot of demonic beasts here. It was also very close to Blue Lightning Mountain. If he happened to get into top 50, Mo would really like to go cultivate at the Immortal Well. He must buy a contribution point jade card before he killed the demonic immortal spirit beast. These jade cards were a small teleportation magic artifact. When an immortal killed a demonic immortal spirit beast, he can dig out the beast core and send it into the jade card. The beast core would immediately be teleported away, and after that the jade card would show the contribution points. This type of jade card was called 5-colored contribution points card. The highest grade card can not only show the top 100 of the 3 ranks, but also show what rank the jade card's owner was at. This jade card was purple. It can only be bought by those immortals who have 10 million or more contribution points. The next was Blue Jade Card. It can show the top 50 of the 2 ranks. It can be bought after reaching 5 million contribution points. The next Jade Card is Aqua Color. It can be bought after reaching 100k points. It will show the ranking of the top 50 of your ranking ladder. Below Blue is Green. It can be bought after reaching 50k points. Most immortals use green cards. This card can show your own rank and contribution points. As for the worst card, it was yellow. It can only show how many points you had, nothing else. Rarely did people buy such jade cards. After all, a good jade card meant that one had contribution points and status. If people were forming squads and you took out a yellow jade card, then you would be lower than everyone. Yemo didn't have many immortal crystals, and this could only buy the yellow jade card. If it wasn't that the Zongpiao Heaven tried to encourage all immortals to hunt for these demonic immortal spirit beasts and lowered the jade card price, Yemo wouldn't even be able to afford the yellow jade card. He bought 2 yellow jade cards for him and Zhan Bingyu and used up pretty much all his immortal crystals. In order to avoid trouble, Yemo changed his name to Mo Ing when recording the jade card. Now, both of their cards showed 0. There were a lot of immortals on the Pingpiao Plain, ranging from Golden Immortal to Great Eternity Immortal. But after coming here, they would pretty much all go to the plain in teams. Even Great Eternity Immortals would form squads. The Great Eternity Immortals didn't dare to go into the depths alone to kill high-level demonic immortal spirit beasts. Just like the Blackweed Forest, there was a small town at the outskirts of the plain. There was an extremely simple marketplace and a huge team forming hall. Immortals from everywhere who wanted to go into the plain would form squads here. Some squads spent a lot of time here and their names were famous. Yemo and Zhan Bingyu went into the team forming hall and immediately caught the attention of all the immortals here. Yemo was abstruse immortal middle stage, neither high nor low here. Everyone was watching Zhan Bingyu. Most of the immortals here lived in Bloodbath and could tell Zhan Bingyu was heavily injured and had no immortal essence. If Yemo was by himself, someone would still want to form a team with him. But no one knew what Yemo meant by bringing in this heavily injured female immortal. Everyone would be willing to team up with an extreme beauty like Zhan Bingyu, but if she was useless, then no one would want to bring this dead weight. It was no joke inside the plane. Yemo didn't come to form a team. He came to buy a map of the outskirts of the plain. He knew that by bringing Zhan Bingyu with him, no one would be willing to form a team with him. Zhan Bingyu couldn't protect herself. It was practical to let her stay at the town alone. If it was some extremely dangerous time, he would rather send Zhan Bingyu into the flying snow orb. But it was a pity the flying snow orb couldn't be sent into the Golden Page world nor storage ring when carrying people. With Yi Mo's forgery capabilities, the flying snow orb's truth abyssal chi couldn't be hidden from great eternity immortal and above. So Yi Mo didn't want to take it out unless necessary. Yi Mo bought a map and then some info about the demonic immortal spirit beasts here before leaving. That abstruse immortal wouldn't be taking that heavily injured female immortal into the plane, right? Someone asked in confusion. He's no idiot. If he goes in alone, he wouldn't live long, and he's carrying a heavily injured person. Is he asking to die? Hee. I think he's settling his Tao partner. Perhaps he will be back to find someone to group up. One red-robed abstruse immortal tertiary stage heard this and left the hall following Yi Mo. As soon as Yi Mo and Zhan Bingyu came in, he saw. His eyes were set on Zhan Bingyu. Zhan Bingyu was extremely beautiful, but what was more important that such extreme beauty was a virgin. If her spirit root was a single-element spirit root, then he might be able to break through to great immortal if he got that female immortal. He thought Yi Mo would settle Zhan Bingyu and come to form a team, but instead Yi Mo carried her on his back and flew into the plane. He immediately rejoiced. If Yi Mo was really going to settle her in the town, it would be troublesome for him. But this abstruse immortal middle stage dared to bring a heavily injured woman into the plane. This was a God-given opportunity. Plus, he was also interested in Yi Mo's blue moon. Some people knew this red-robed abstruse immortal who left, and all shook their heads. Yi Mo just flew for 5 minutes and slowed down. Zhan Bingyu immediately noticed this, and her spirit sense scanned the following red-robed abstruse immortal. Someone followed over. Zhan Bingyu saw that the abstruse immortal was extremely fast and neared Blue Moon in the blink of an eye. That's right, so we'll wait for him. Yi Mo nodded. Zhan Bingyu frowned. But we don't even have a single contribution point. Why does that person want to follow us? Yi Mo smiled. Perhaps because he thinks you're very pretty, so he wants to kill me and take you. Then, he really chose the right person. Zhan Bingyu smiled. Yi Mo sighed. He felt during the 2 years in the void, Zhan Bingyu seemed to have changed a lot. At least her face wasn't forever cold. Sometimes she would smile. Yi Mo suspected this was due to her change in cultivation method. A red figure appeared before Blue Moon. Yi Mo didn't even put away Blue Moon and stared coldly at this red-robed abstruse immortal, not even bothering to talk. I'm Feng Shangjin. Friend, I saw you were going the plane with only 2 people, so I came to team up with you. The red-robed abstruse immortal scanned Zhan Bingyu and couldn't control the joy in his heart. Piss off! Yi Mo yelled, scanning a great unity immortal coming over here. Quickly! Feng Shangjin thought that since he was abstruse immortal tertiary stage and Yi Mo was only abstruse immortal middle stage, he would agree to reject. He just needed an excuse. He wasn't really going to team up. Feng Shangjin thought that since he was abstruse immortal tertiary stage and Yi Mo was only abstruse immortal middle stage, he would agree to reject. He just needed an excuse. He wasn't really going to team up. He was waiting for Yi Mo to reject and use that as an excuse. But now that Yi Mo said, piss off, he didn't need to act. He was furious. With this, Feng Shangjin raised his hand and a strange scented magic artifact was released. This was a rapidly expanding flower that was shaped like a trumpet. It grew bigger and bigger, and a strange smell kept emitting from it. It made Yi Mo feel his immortal essence rapidly decrease. The area covered by that flower made people lazy as though not wanting to leave again. Yi Mo released his world rock and smashed at the flower. Seeing this, Feng Shangjin sneered. His flower didn't fear such magic artifacts at all. Zhan Bingyu's immortal essence was gone, and she couldn't resist at all. Plus, she had been with Yi Mo all this time and wasn't wary at all. How could she stop this extremely lustful flower aroma? Before the magic artifact fully released, she stuck to Yi Mo's back even closer. Luckily, she didn't completely lose her Tao heart and could keep awake a little. Thud, the world rock smashed on the flower, and the flower shook. That strange aroma was instantly gone. Crack, after pausing for a brief moment, the world rock smashed through the flower, and the flower instantly broke apart. How is this possible? Feng Shangjian looked at this and said in disbelief. He immediately realized now wasn't the time to be shocked, as he would be the next target for that weighing stone. But he realized that too late. After smashing the flower, the world rock broke through the flower and smashed Feng Shangjian. Splurge blood and flesh was torn apart. Feng Shangjian's essence, spirit, couldn't even escape and was smashed to nothing. This was the first abstruse immortal essence, spirit, to be smashed by the world rock. Yi Mo took Feng Shangjian's storage ring and shook his head. He had this little power and dared to be cocky. To him now, ordinary abstruse immortals were really of no threat at all. Are you okay? Yi Mo noticed Zhan Bingyu's abnormality and asked. Zhan Bingyu breathed and let loose of her hands, saying weakly, I'm fine. I finally realize it. What is it? Yi Mo asked. Zhan Bingyu bit her lips but didn't answer. She felt she finally understood what lust was. When she stuck closely to Yi Mo, that feeling. It seemed that after she lost her immortal essence, her will lowered to Yi Mo's level. Yi Mo's attention rested on the great unity, immortal not far away. The great unity, immortal, saw Yi Mo kill Feng Shangjian with one move and didn't come over. He rapidly turned to leave. Yi Mo breathed easy. He wasn't scared of a great unity immortal. But if he really fought, it would be very hard bringing Zhan Bingyu. Blue Moon flew again. Yi Mo started to count the storage ring of this abstruse immortal. There were 500K top-grade immortal crystals and some simple forgery materials and pills. Yi Mo didn't need such things, but cared about the jade card the most. Yi Mo picked it up. There was a small line. Feng Shangjian, 175,000 contribution points. Rank 467821. What a trash. He's ranked more than 400,000 away. Yi Mo cursed. Zhan Bingyu calmed down from her emotions, and hearing this, she wanted to laugh. Yi Mo had not a single point himself. Then Yi Mo transferred all the contribution points to his jade card without hesitation. Then he threw the jade card away and sped off on Blue Moon. He didn't even start killing demonic immortal spirit beasts and got more than 170K contribution points. 5 days later, Yi Mo got a Blue Moon. He knew from the map that this place was where demonic immortal spirit beasts appeared. He hadn't seen what it was yet. He would kill his way in to gather experience. The Jade Slip says that the lower the level, the more ethereal their bodies. After reaching level 7, the demonic immortal spirit beast had a physical form. As soon as Zhan Bingyu said this, Yi Mo sliced out with Zisu. A shriek sounded, and a faint figure was hacked apart by Yi Mo. A gray beast core landed on the ground, and the figure quickly disappeared. Yi Mo picked it up and said, This is probably a level 1 demonic immortal spirit beast core. Why does Zongpiao Heaven want to collect this? Or is it just for contribution points? Yi Mo then threw it into the jade card and 0. 5 contribution points were added. Perhaps they could be used for pill concoction or something else, Zhan Bingyu said. Just when Yi Mo wanted to speak, a few extremely faint demonic immortal spirit beasts rushed over. Yi Mo hacked out 2, and a few more contribution points appeared in his jade card. This way is too slow. Let's go find some high-level demonic immortal spirit beasts, Yi Mo said. 2 days later, Yemo began to meet some level 3 demonic immortal spirit beasts. They had a complete body shape and seemed half materialized. Their offensive power had also greatly increased too. Not only could they use demonic blades, but also use demonic chi to corrode souls. Some powerful ones could use demonic chi chains. One wouldn't be so well if caught by the chains. No wonder the immortals needed to form teams. That way, even if they were caught by the chains, they could save their essence blood. But this wasn't a problem for Yemo. His heaven flame 9 suns was about to form the 4th sun. Coming from the inside, any demonic chains would be burned. Too slow. After killing low-level demonic immortal spirit beast for 10 days, Yemo sighed. He had killed thousands of level 2 and level 3 demonic immortal spirit beasts, but his contribution points only increased by 30,000. Now, Yemo realized how hard it was to reach 10 million in contribution points. Even if he earned 30K every 10 days, then in 1 year it would at most be 1 million or so. It was impossible to reach 10 million. Zhen Bingyu felt guilty. She knew Yemo didn't mean anything, but she couldn't help Yemo and was dragging him back. A month later, Yemo had 400K contribution points in his Jade card, but he still didn't find places with large amounts of the beasts. Even level 4s were very rare. The most powerful thing about level 4s were their demonic chains and soul corrosion. It was lethal to others, but nothing much for Yemo. His spirit sense and heaven flame can easily stop them, but the pity was he couldn't find where the level 4 beasts lived. Yemo didn't dare to just run into the depths. He knew that if he fell into level 5 crowd, he wouldn't even be able to get away. It's almost all level 3 and below here. We don't know this place either. How about we ask someone? Zhan Bingyu knew Yemo wanted to go cultivate at the Blue Lightning Immortal Well. Someone is coming. Yemo saw a few dashing lights come over. It was 4 immortals, 2 men and 2 women, all abstruse immortal power. They were coming directly at Yemo. 2 of them were abstruse immortal peak stage. 2 of them were abstruse immortal peak stage. It's just you 2? The pink-dressed female immortal stared at Yemo, and Zhen Bingyu asking in confusion. Clearly, she thought Yemo's cultivation level was too low, and he took a heavily injured Zhen Bingyu. They shouldn't have even been able to make it here. Yes, Mo greets immortal friends. Usually, rarely did people call immortals below great immortals, immortal friends. Yemo said this to show respect. The leading man looked at Yemo and Zhen Bingyu. This is the border of level 4 region of the plane. You're an abstruse immortal middle stage, carrying a heavily injured goddess who dares to come here? Are you asking to die? Thank you for your care. I want to ask if it's level 4 area beyond this place. Yemo saluted with his fists. Yemo knew sometimes it wasn't the deeper you went, the higher the level of the demonic immortal spirit beast. It was possible that just beyond the level 3 area was level 5 area. That's right, a little further down would be where level 4 demonic immortal spirit beasts are. Hurry up and take your Dao partner away. The leading abstruse immortal looked at Zhen Bingyu on Yemo's back and added out of goodwill. The pink-dressed female immortal said, Brother Xian, there are a lot of level 4 demonic immortal spirit beasts behind here. If they meet a level 4 demonic immortal spirit beast on the way, then Brother Xian waved his hand to Yemo. The Mist Demon Palace just opened. We're going there, so we can't take you too. I have a jade slip for you. Just retreat according to it, and you'll have a chance to get out of there. Then he was about to take out the jade slip. Yemo quickly asked, Brother Xian, may I ask what's the Mist Demon Palace? He knew these were nice people. Yemo was grateful, but didn't plan on retreating. He came here to kill the beasts. How could he leave before reaching top 50? Brother Xian, if we go any later we'll fall behind, another abstruse immortal man reminded. Brother Xian nodded and threw 2 jade slips to Yi Mo. Have a look yourself. We're going first. Then the 4 released flying magic artifacts and disappeared from the depths of the plane. Yi Mo scanned his spirit sense in the 2 jade slips. One was a rather precious route of the plane. Yi Mo could retreat out of here along this. Another jade slip was about the Mist Demon Palace. The past life of the Mist Demon Palace was the trial secret realm of the great eternity immortal sect, Mist Spirit Sect. The sect members could come in here every century for trials. There were all sorts of immortal spirit herbs and treasures inside. The sect members could get different fortunes based on their luck and power. It's said that the Mist Spirit Sect set up their sect here because of finding this Mist Palace. So the Mist Palace had a longer history than the sect. Pity, demonic immortal spirit beasts invaded here, and the sect was annihilated. The Mist Palace became the Mist Demon Palace. It opened every 1,000 years. It's shrouded in mist and has all sorts of immortal spirit beasts. Of course, it's all demonic immortal spirit beasts. Every time it opened, many immortals would go in. Although there's a greater chance of dying, the chances of loot were also increased. Not only could you get large sums of contributions points here, you can also get many immortal spirit herbs or precious cultivation resources. Yi Mo passed the jade slip to Jin Bingyu and said, "Martial sister Bingyu, the palace is about to start. Let's go see it too." Outside, a valley shrouded in mist. More than 10,000 immortals squeezed here. They were all staring at the misty entrance to the valley as though waiting for something. "Brother Xian, look, that guy didn't leave and came here instead so cockily too." The pink-dressed female immortal immediately saw Yi Mo and Zhen Bingyu on Blue Moon. "He probably doesn't know the rule," the other female immortal next to the pink-dressed female immortal said. Yi Mo didn't know the rule of landing before the valley, and that flying was disrespecting all the people who came here beforehand. If he knew he would definitely get down, no matter how prideful he was, he wouldn't dare to disrespect so many immortals. "Martial brother, they don't seem to be glancing at us nicely." Jin Bingyu immediately noticed. Yi Mo guessed that it was probably because they kept flying. He immediately put away the flying magic artifact and landed. "Kid, you're very cocky, taking a pretty Dao partner around. You dare to fly directly to the valley entrance," one great Unity immortal sneered. He was going to teach Yi Mo a lesson even if he said nothing. Yi Mo knew he offended everyone by flying. He didn't fear one great Unity immortal, but there were so many immortals here. "Immortal friends, it's my first time here, and I don't know the rules. Please forgive me." Yi Mo saluted with his fists to everyone. Hearing this, everyone stopped caring. There were few people who didn't know the rules, but it didn't mean there were none. Since Yi Mo said this, he clearly really didn't know. "Kid, you're indeed cocky." The great Unity immortal knew what Yi Mo meant. He apologized to everyone else first, because he was annoyed at him picking on him. Yi Mo sneered. He wasn't scared of a fight. He already explained why he didn't land. "The mist is gone, the palace is open." The great Unity immortal immediately heard this and pulled his attention away from Yi Mo. Yi Mo also noticed that the impenetrable mist began to clear up. The mist started dissipating and an entrance was revealed. The mist was like 2 side-moving doors, moving to the side. The impatient immortals all charged in as though if they went in late, they would lose a share of the things inside. The great Unity immortal glared coldly at Yi Mo and charged into the mist too. Now, only Yi Mo and Zhen Bingyu remained. "Let's go in too." Yi Mo carried Jin Bingyu. The immortal spirit chi is so dense. Zhen Bingyu couldn't resist saying. Yi Mo nodded in agreement. With such dense immortal spirit chi here, there might be an immortal range inside. If we find one, we wouldn't need to go cultivate at the Blue Lightning Immortal Well. Recently, my cultivation hasn't progressed at all. Sigh, cultivation resources. Zhen Bingyu shook her head. She saw Yi Mo's growth. When she first saw him, he was only golden immortal middle stage. How long had it been? And he was now abstruse immortal middle stage peak. Yet he still said he was progressing slowly. How would others feel about this? The two went into the depths of the valley. 15 minutes later, 9 ancient big doors appeared before Yemo and Zhenbingyu. Yemo stopped at this door. Which one should they go in? When he was still hesitating, a few immortals came too. They just casually scanned Yemo and Zhenbingyu before choosing one random door. Yemo stopped at this door. Which one should they go in? When he was still hesitating, a few immortals came too. They just casually scanned Yemo and Zhenbingyu before choosing one random door. It seems every door is the same. Let's go into. Yemo took Zhenbingyu in a door. A misty scene appeared before them, but these mists were still dissipating. After a while, they would be all gone. As Yemo went in, some low-level immortal spirit herb started to show before them. There were some extraordinary ones too. Some of them were dug away, but most of the low-level immortal spirit herbs were untouched. It seems there's quite some good things here. Yemo laughed and sped up. If there weren't a lot of good things here, even the low-level immortal spirit herb wouldn't remain. Yemo was extremely fast, and he didn't find anything on the way. After flying for half a day, he finally saw some other immortals. The only thing was they were flying out from inside. There were a few hundred of them. Seeing Yemo and Zhenbingyu walk in, none of them said anything. It was as though they didn't see him. It seems something happened inside. Let's leave too. Zhenbingyu saw this and knew they must have encountered some danger. Otherwise, they wouldn't be running away this rapidly. Yemo wasn't dumb and was immediately about to turn. But as soon as he did, a gray, fast, like lightning figure dashed towards him. Yemo clearly saw it was a gray, robed, abstruse, immortal peak stage who released this. That guy was last to run and attacked him. Just one moment, Yemo and Zhenbingyu were surrounded by countless demonic immortal spirit beast. Waves of demonic chains and blades flew towards Yemo. Yemo immediately knew the guy wanted him to help stall the demonic immortal spirit beast. The fact was that the guy had succeeded. Just when Yemo flew back to the tide, that guy had disappeared. Those immortals who hadn't come out were devoured clean already. When Yemo was chained by the demonic chains, he released Mist Lotus Heart Fire. The chains melted instantly, but immediately more chains and blades flew at him. Yemo's spirit sense scanned out and found there were tens of thousands of demonic immortal spirit beast. They were all pretty much level 3, some level 4. Yemo didn't know what this group of bastards did to piss off so many demoink immortal spirit beast. Martial brother, Zhenbingyu's tone was getting shaky. She knew Yemo was strong, but how could he attack so many? Even going into the flying snow orb won't save their lives. It only had a level 3 defense formation. Once the orb was shattered, they would disappear. Just like storage ring. She had never heard of things being able to exist after storage ring was shattered, except for a few top-grade magic artifact that could resist the pressure of space shattering. Most things would dissipate after the storage ring broke. Yemo saw more demonic chains form quickly and knew that just relying on defense won't last them very long. He didn't have time to explain to Zhenbingyu and released 4 purple suns. The 4th sun's color was a bit dim as Yemo's Heaven Flame 9 suns hadn't completely reached level 4. The purple flame ball rose and endless purple rays shone down on the densely clustered demonic immortal spirit beast, and they began to melt. Those demonic immortal spirit beast, melted by the Heaven Flame 9 suns, kept dropping all sorts of beast cores. The beast cores gathered on the ground. No matter how many demonic immortal spirit beasts there were below level 3, they wouldn't even essence blood able to get away from Yemo's Heaven Flame 9 suns. The purple didn't shrink and instead expanded, enveloping those at the border. Even level 4 demonic immortal spirit beast began to wither. The few hundred level 4 demonic immortal spirit, beast, knew things weren't good. They really wanted to charge to EMO, but there were more and more purple rays, and even their bodies began to melt. Some level 4 demonic immortal spirit beast, who were smart, quickly left the range of the sun and disappeared. More level 4 demonic immortal spirit beast wanted to follow, but EMO reacted. Even though Heaven Flame 9 Suns was very hard to use, he released Zisu. Illusion Cloud Domain Kill Strike. A huge purple sword ray slashed down. Screech. Sharp screams sounded and beast cores fell. The offensive capability of level 4 immortal spirit beast were much stronger than level 3's, but after losing half their life to the Heaven Flame 9 Suns, they could only die. In less than 5 minutes, the dense clutter of demonic immortal spirit beast had been cleared up. There were only piles and piles of beast cores. Some level 1 and level 2 beast cores even began to melt. But level 3 and level 4 were still complete. Yi-Emo ate a few pills and waved all the beast cores into his jade card. His contribution points immediately increased by 100,000. Zhan Bingyu looked at this scene in shock, not daring to believe Yi-Emo did this. She knew Yi-Emo had Heaven Flame and could gather into a sun, but she didn't expect it to be this scary. Even a great Eternity Immortal would need more time to kill this many demonic immortal spirit beast. Yi-Emo ate a few pills and felt his footsteps weak. Zhan Bingyu noticed this immediately and asked worriedly, "Martial brother, are you okay?" Yi-Emo waved his hand and said, "I'm fine. These things give contribution points quick, but it's too exhausting." Despite this, Yi-Emo was still very shocked. His Heaven Flame 9 Suns was still on the 4th sun and was this powerful already. If he could release 9 suns, then, so what if tens of thousands of immortal emperors attacked him? There shouldn't be any great Eternity Immortal. Send me into the flying snow orb. Otherwise, it'll affect you too much. Plus, I can see what's going on inside the flying snow orb. Zhan Bingyu said. This was only the outskirts, and the demonic immortal spirit beast here were so powerful. There might be more demonic immortal spirit beast inside. But she couldn't even help Yi-Emo. Yi-Emo fell silent for a moment and said, "Okay, there shouldn't be a lot of great Eternity Immortal. If they come, I'll let you out immediately and put away the flying snow orb." MHM. Zhan Bingyu breathed easy. Yi-Emo hung the flying snow orb on his chest. It was indeed much more convenient to do things alone. He had much less concerns. Plus, the 3-birth chant didn't need one to stop to recover immortal essence and spirit sense. When Yi-Emo came before a hill, he dazed and immediately became excited. A 2-petal tall blue fruit tree was in the middle of the hill. There were 6 blue fruits on it. "Du Luo Heaven Fruit," Zhan Bingyu called out excited. Yi-Emo knew this was level 6 Du Luo Heaven Fruit. It was blue on the outside and red on the inside. It could be used to concoct many pills, but most immortals wouldn't use it for pill concoction and would just eat it straight up. This was much better than using it for pill concoction. It can allow any immortal below status immortal to break through a small level. Yi-Emo was abstruse immortal middle stage now. If he ate the fruit, he would immediately reach abstruse immortal tertiary stage. It also had no side effects. Thinking that he would reach abstruse immortal peak stage immediately, then he would be able to have divine damnation to reach great unity immortal. He had large amounts of great unity immortal pills, unlike other abstruse immortals. Great immortal was right before his eyes. He lacked time now the most, so fruit that could save his cultivation time undoubtedly made Yi-Emo very excited. However, one could only eat one Du Luo Heaven Fruit. Otherwise, if he ate all of them, he might be great extreme immortal now. He lacked time now the most, so a fruit that could save his cultivation time undoubtedly made Yi-Emo very excited. However, one could only eat one Du Luo Heaven Fruit. Otherwise, if he ate all of them, he might be great extreme immortal now. Yi Mo became very grateful to those demonic immortal spirit beasts. They were better than immortals. At least they wouldn't touch the fruits before they were mature. There was clearly some time before the fruits were ripe. Yi Mo wasn't going to wait here for it. Other people didn't have means, but he had a lot. Not only did he have Golden Page World, but even the flying snow orb could transplant the dew Luo Heaven fruit. But Yi Mo knew that if he transplanted the fruits to there, it would be useless. The flying snow orb couldn't handle such good things. It could at most grow level for immortal spirit herbs. Spirit Sense Yi Mo was planning to send the dew Luo Heaven fruit into this Golden Page World. He was planning to dig up this entire mountain. He was afraid other people's spirit sense would scan the fruit, so Yi Mo threw down a spirit sense barrier formation. Wait! Just when Yi Mo dug up the fruit, a desperate voice sounded. Yi Mo's spirit sense scanned 2 people flying here. He just rapidly sent the hail into his Golden Page World as though he didn't hear it. Zhan Bingyu saw Yi Mo didn't send the fruit into the flying snow orb and knew Yi Mo probably had another immortal spirit herb garden or small world. Did you just take the dew Luo Heaven fruit? That immortal stared at Yi Mo. This was a great unity immortal, slightly fat and little hair. The other was abstruse immortal tertiary stage. Yi Mo estimated that he probably wasn't afraid of these 2. Even if he can't beat them, he could charge into the depth of the Mist Demon Palace. Do Luo Heaven fruit? I don't know, I just saw there was a good immortal spirit herb, so I took it. Yi Mo said calmly. The great unity immortal frowned and said plainly, regardless, show me. If it's dew Luo Heaven fruit, it would die quickly if you put it in your storage ring or immortal spirit herb. I promise that if it's really dew Luo Heaven fruit, I'll leave you one. He wasn't too sure if Yi Mo had it or not. If Yi Mo really had it, he would have attacked already, but he was rather far and his spirit sense was strangely blocked, so he didn't see clearly. Yi Mo laughed. How was there such shameless guy? He didn't intend TP take it out at all and just patted the dust on his body. Why do I have to show you the immortal spirit herb I dug? Even if it's a chaos spirit item, what are you going to do if I don't show you? Then Yi Mo was planning to fight. You're asking to die? The abstruse immortal tertiary stage immortal saw Yi Mo was a mere abstruse immortal middle stage and dared to be this cocky to great unity immortal. Suddenly, 10 more figures flew over and the great unity immortal ate down his words. Yi Mo laughed intentionally. I'm not going to give you the immortal spirit herb I dug. If you want it, then come rob me. I've seen too many shameless people like you. The other immortals didn't know what Yi Mo dug, but they realized what was going on. They didn't expect this abstruse immortal middle stage to be this bold, not taking a great unity immortal seriously. Realizing this, although no one spoke for Yi Mo, but most people looked at the great unity immortal with contempt. The great unity immortal sneered and just wanted to say something when he saw a few rainbow flares appear in the sky and immediately stopped talking. The other immortals saw this and immediately all flew over. The great unity immortal shot a few rays at Yi Mo and flew off. Yi Mo sneered and burned the spirit sense marks on him with heaven flame 9 suns. When he was only nascent soul state, he burned truth, realization state, spirit, sense mark. Now, a mere great unity immortal dared to mark him with spirit sense. If it was some other person, he would change a direction and fly off, but Yi Mo didn't intend to do so at all. He also flew towards the flare. Yi Mo hadn't been here for long and didn't know the place. He didn't know where the good things were. Since so many people were rushing there, it must mean there are good things there. He wasn't going to pass up on such opportunity. Yi Mo flew, and on the way, he saw 10 more immortals head towards the same direction. 15 minutes later, Yi Mo saw a palace. Before it was a huge square. Yi Mo couldn't scan his spirit sense into the palace. There was 2,000 immortals gathered at the square, all discussing or exchanging things. A great extreme immortal primary stage flew up and said, "Friends, we're quite lucky to enter this door and found the entrance to the Mist Demon Palace this quickly. Those who want to go in, let's attack together. Yemo looked at another abstruse immortal and said, was the door we entered before, not the entrance. This abstruse immortal knew Yemo, the abstruse immortal middle stage, who still flew on his flying magic artifact at the outskirts. He explained, after entering the Mist Demon Valley, there are 9 doors. It said each door has different fortunes. There's a chance to find the real entrance to the Mist Demon Palace at each door, which is this palace. After the restriction of this palace is broken, it would recover after 1,000 years. The real good things of the Mist Demon Palace are in here. Inside is another world. There are a lot of good things, but a lot of immortals die too. Yemo knew that this abstruse immortal said the last bit to him, implying that his power was too low. Okay, let's attack the restriction in groups. The Great Unity Immortal said. Yemo just wanted to go contribute his power, and he saw that abstruse immortal peak stage, who ambushed him fly over. At the same time, the gray-robed abstruse immortal also saw Yemo. There was pure shock in his eyes when he saw Yemo. He thought Yemo had long died in the demonic immortal spirit beast tide. Suddenly, a purple light rose up into the sky. All the immortals near Yemo retreated. Yemo's killing intent flooded out. Yemo just wanted to kill this gray-robed abstruse immortal and didn't realize that he caused too much scene releasing Zisu. But he didn't care. I was going to kill this abstruse immortal no matter what. That Great Unity immortal forcing Yemo before was also surprised Yemo had such killing force. At the same time, he couldn't sense his spirit sense mark at all. Yemo clearly removed it. Theoretically, Yemo should be running as far as possible, but instead, he followed here. This abstruse immortal didn't fear him at all. Amo-ing. Yemo heard a crisp voice call him. Soon another pink figure landed, not far from Yemo. Yemo knew this female immortal. It was one of the 4 immortals he met on the way. The other 3 followed. Yemo quickly saluted with his fists. Amo-ing, greet Brother Xian and everyone. Amo-ing, where did your Dao partner go? She's dead, but you're living quite well. The red-robed female immortal was full of contempt. Yemo immediately knew she misunderstood. This red-robed female immortal probably thought Jin Bingyu was killed, and he felt Jin Bingyu was cumbersome, so he didn't save her. Yemo immediately knew she misunderstood. This red-robed female immortal probably thought Jin Bingyu was killed, and he felt Jin Bingyu was cumbersome, so he didn't save her. Knowing this, Yemo didn't get angry despite her being rude with him. An ordinary person wouldn't even care if you killed your Dao partner or not. This gray-robed abstruse immortal was already concerned with Yemo to be able to escape from the demonic immortal spirit beast tide. Now he seemed to have friends. This abstruse immortal saw Yemo was talking with the female immortal and turned to leave. He knew quite some people here, but there might not be a single one who would help him. Yemo was going to kill him. How could he let him go? As soon as he turned, Zisu hacked out and he shot out multiple spirit sense blades. He was going to end it fast in case people interfered. The people around immediately made space, seeing Yemo was fighting the gray-robed abstruse immortal. The abstruse immortal ignored Yemo's sword ray and released a shield while activating his mobility magic. But clearly he wouldn't be able to do this with Yemo's spirit sense blades. His shield wasn't able to stop the sword ray in time. The purple sword rays sliced into his body, and when his essence spirit flew out, he was still in disbelief. Why was his spirit sense hacked by an invisible sword? That pain in his spirit sense slowed his shield by just a little. Spirit sense cultivation method? Spirit sense blades? As soon as he realized what was going on, the purple ray rolled back and his essence spirit, along with his body, was destroyed. Seeing this abstruse immortal tertiary stage being sliced and diced with one strike from the back, everyone was dazed, not daring to believe what they saw. Everyone could tell there was conflict between the two. The abstruse immortal was running probably not because he was scared of EMO, but the 4 abstruse immortal tertiary stage behind EMO. But this abstruse immortal tertiary stage died. He was running and clearly ready for Yemo's attack. But that shield happened to be that bit slower and didn't block the sword ray. No one believed this was a mistake. Killing an abstruse immortal tertiary stage as abstruse immortal middle stage in one move, not even letting the essence spirit go. This abstruse immortal middle stage was not only strong but ferocious. Even that red-robed female immortal dazed. Before she could keep talking, the other 3 in her team stopped her. A few great Unity immortals also frowned at Yi-Mo, asking everyone to pause the attack. The great Unity immortal who marked Yi-Mo also shook. He looked at Yi-Mo with even more concern. Even he wouldn't be able to kill that abstruse immortal in one move nor stop his shield. Yi-Mo took the gray-robed abstruse immortal storage ring and saluted with his fists. I didn't know this person at all, but when the demonic immortal spirit beast tide came, he ambushed me. I'm just getting revenge this time. So that was it, the immortals realized. Some of them would have done the same to survive. But Yi-Mo survived in that and came back for revenge immediately, not caring there were great Unity immortal and great extreme immortal here. Wait! Suddenly, an eagle-nosed immortal landed before Yi-Mo. It was a great Unity immortal primary stage. Yi-Mo knew this guy came for the storage ring. The great Unity immortal stared at Yi-Mo and said, "You just killed my friend. Since he ambushed you first, I won't care about it, but I need to take back this storage ring." Yi-Mo sneered he needed some contribution points the most. How occult he give out what he took. He just put away the storage ring as though he didn't hear it. Seeing this, the great Unity immortal's face went bad and released a yellow magic artifact immediately. The great extreme immortal before sneered, "Now is the time for everyone to enter the Mist Demon Palace. Everyone will be attacking the restriction. If you have conflicts, then resolve them elsewhere. If you keep fighting here, then don't blame me for what happens." The great Unity immortal's face changed and saluted with his fists before saying to Yi-Mo, "Let's go resolve it on the side." Yi-Mo smiled calmly. "Very well, let's go resolve it on the side." If it was elsewhere, Yi-Mo wouldn't be interested in fighting this great Unity immortal, but he easily got 100k contribution points from Feng Shangjin last time. He really liked this method of collecting contribution points. Seeing the 2 leave, the immortals nearby took back their glances. Some people shook their heads. Yi-Mo was indeed powerful, but no matter what, he was still an abstruse immortal. 5 minutes later, the great Unity immortal stopped and looked at this abstruse immortal middle stage, who didn't fear him at all. He was a little confused. Yi-Mo even seemed a little happy, as though he was about to get something. At this moment, he even felt a little creeped out. He didn't understand where Yi-Mo got his confidence from. "Give me Suo Fei's storage ring. If you think you're losing something, I can give you some compensation." The great Unity immortal frowned and didn't stay so dominant. Hearing this, Yi-Mo realized this great Unity immortal really knew the gray-robed abstruse immortal. But no matter what, Yi-Mo wasn't going to give a storage ring. He got away. "If you want to fight, then fight. Stop wasting time. I still need to go to Mist Demon Palace." Yi-Mo said, no matter what, he was a great Unity immortal. An abstruse immortal middle stage dared to be this cocky with him. How could he take it? He released the yellow magic artifact. Screech! Countless yellow rays shot out from it and entwined together. But they didn't shoot towards Yi-Mo, and instead slowly expanded, forming a death chamber. The magic artifact then turned into 2 wheels. The 2 wells squeezed towards Yi-Mo. As the magic artifact sped up, the sounds grew louder, making Yi-Mo's head dizzy. He even had the impulse of running away, or his sea of consciousness would be overturned by this sound. But before this sound got sharper, Yi-Mo expanded his spirit sense domain and released World Rock. The terrifying sound weakened a lot immediately. The great unity immortal breathed easy. He was very concerned with Yemo to be able to kill Sua Fei in one move, but now Yemo didn't seem to be able to last under his soul sound. It seemed he overestimated this abstruse immortal middle stage, or something went wrong with Sua Fei. Suddenly, Yemo's world rock smashed over. Rumble, crack. The world rock collided with his magic artifact, and a shocking sound flew out. Even with spirit sense domain, Yemo felt his sea of consciousness go dizzy. The immortals before the palace all heard this sound and was shook. An abstruse immortal middle stage, fighting a great unity immortal, caused such a huge commotion. The great unity immortal primary stage immediately noticed his magic artifact being smashed by the world rock. He received the backlash and spat a mouthful of blood. That terrifying sound also caused chaos in his sea of consciousness. The great unity immortal primary stage immediately noticed his magic artifact being smashed by the world rock. He received the backlash and spat a mouthful of blood. That terrifying sound also caused chaos in his sea of consciousness. He immediately knew things wasn't good. Since when could an abstruse immortal middle stage smashed his magic artifact immediately? Even if Yemo really was abstruse immortal middle stage, the terrifying stone magic artifact wasn't something he could deal with. That rock, after released with magic, had a terrifying weight that ordinary magic couldn't deal with. The great unity immortal realized this, so when the black rock smashed over again, he desperately released his only other magic artifact, while barely stopping the world rock. Crack! The terrifying sound exploded again. This time it was also smashed to pieces. He was backlashed by his magic artifact twice and spat many mouthfuls of blood. He realized he was completely no match for Yemo. This abstruse immortal middle stage was too scary, or his black rock was too powerful. Stop! Seeing the rock smashed over again, he quickly called out. He really didn't understand why the exploding sound didn't injure Yemo. Yemo wasn't going to stop. The world rock smashed down without hesitation. Realizing that calling stop was useless, the great unity immortal released another light barrier shielding him. At the same time, his figure began to dim inside. When the world rock smashed on the yellow barrier, it paused for a brief moment. The barrier crippled and the world rock charged in, but this time was enough for that great unity immortal to disappear. Then the world rock floated before Yemo. Yemo was extremely uncomfortable. He didn't feel this great unity immortal running at all. How did this guy get away? He didn't even feel space ripple at all. Just when Yemo was certain the great unity immortal was gone, Zhen Bingyu spoke with him. Yemo immediately gave the control rights of the flying snow orb to Zhen Bingyu. Zhen Bingyu immediately came out and said to Yemo, "There's an extra rock on your left." Yemo immediately knew what Zhen Bingyu meant, and the world rock flew up again, smashing at that rock in lightning speed. This rock was indeed a transformation magic used by that great unity immortal. It was a good high-level magic. Although he turned into a rock, he was watching Yemo non-stop. When Zhen Bingyu suddenly appeared, he knew Yemo had a small world, but before he could react, the world rock smashed down again. Seeing the world rock land on his body, the great unity immortal knew there was no time to run. He never had thought he would be killed by an abstruse immortal middle stage in a head-on battle. Blood mist sprayed. The rock was smashed to a meat pie. The rock disappeared, showing the body of the great unity immortal. Yemo released Shadowless to devour the essence spirit and then picked up a storage ring. Yemo opened the 2 storage ring he got. There were 8 million top-grade immortal crystals in total. The great unity immortal had 6 million. Other than this, there were some immortal spirit herb and materials, as well as jade slips. What Yemo cared about the most were the contribution points. The 2 jade cards were blue. Seeing Sua Fei's jade card, Yemo realized why this great unity immortal must take Suo Fei's jade card. Suo Fei had 2 million contribution points. The great unity immortal only had about 1 million. Suo Fei also had some other jade cards that had some contribution points. Some had none, some had a few 100,000. Finally got a little wealthier. Yemo smiled at Zhen Bingyu. With all this, Yemo was near 4 million contribution points. Yemo took out his jade card, wanting to transfer the points to his jade card. But what shook Yemo was he couldn't do it at all. What's going on? Yemo looked at Zhan Bingyu in confusion. He easily transferred Feng Shangjian's contribution points. That card was green, while these two were blue. Was it to do with this? Zhan Bingyu frowned. Ask someone later. Some of the jade cards in Suo Fei's storage ring are empty, meaning he transferred them, but there are some he couldn't. Yemo nodded. He decided to go ask that brother Xian. Go into Flying Snow Orb. We'll go to the Mist Demon Palace now. Yemo said and released Blue Moon immediately. When Yemo came to the entrance again, there was just some broken restrictions, but not a single person. It seemed the group had gone in already. Yemo went in without hesitation too. This place was more like a maze than a palace. There were twists and turns everywhere, countless corridors. Yemo walked for nearly an hour and deigned to see a single person. He doesn't even remember the way back now. There would often be some rooms in the corridors, but inside was only bones and nothing else. The storage ring on the bones were gone. These bones were undoubtedly immortals who died here before. They probably couldn't get, and eventually died to demonic immortal spirit beast. Zhan Bingyu saw this too, and flew out of the Flying Snow Orb. It seems we're late. There's definitely people who have a map of the inside here. People definitely have at least a simple map to get out. We don't have a map. We might get lost in here. Yemo said, This probably isn't a palace. It's a trap formation. My master told me about this, but I'm no formation great master. Neither is my master. She says if we don't have a map, we wouldn't even be able to get out. Zhen Bingyu said. Soon, Yemo thought of something. He flipped out a few jade slips from his storage ring and found a jade slip with a map. He scanned his spirit sense in and rejoiced momentarily after. There's a map of the palace in here. It only has a marking of the exit. No precise map of the palace. Zhan Bingyu knew the jade slip probably came from the Great Unity Immortal and nodded. Actually, we have another way that doesn't include the map. Yemo was dizzy. He hated mazes. He quickly asked in joy, what way? Usually in such places, if we have spirit-seeking beasts, we can follow them to find the most valuable room. Zhan Bingyu's words cooled Yemo down. He didn't have spirit-seeking beast. He had a snow fox in the Golden Page world, but that snow fox's level was too low and was now Luo Ying's pet. I don't have spirit-seeking beast. Yemo shook his head. He wasn't planning to walk around here. He was going to study the trap formation. No, you have something better than spirit-seeking beast. Zhen Bingyu shook her head. Yemo immediately understood and blurted, You're talking about Shadowless? Zhan Bingyu nodded, yes, even though its level is low. It's definitely the most useful thing here. He can't tell you the exact situation, but he can definitely point to you the place with the best immortal spirit chi, or the place that would benefit him the most. Yemo cursed himself for being dumb. Shadowless was a natural bottomless hole. It would eat anything that had immortal spirit chi. He only needed to order Shadowless to go to the place with the best immortal spirit chi. Shadowless was clearly very excited after Yemo called him out. It immediately blinked in front of Yemo and disappeared. Chapter 1650. How about no? Chapter 1650. How about no with Shadowless leading the way? Yemo didn't go around cluelessly like before. In just half a day, he found Immortal Spirit Herb Garden. There was just a few level 4 Immortal Spirit Herb, but this was a target for Yemo. On the 9th day, Shadowless suddenly became excited. He sent Yi Emo a strong message and flew in through a tunnel. Yi Emo didn't have time to care what Zhan Bingyu thought and grabbed her hand and sent her into the flying snow or before chasing Shadowless. In less than 5 minutes, Yi Emo followed Shadowless into a larger room. This room was larger than all the rooms he had been in. The first thing he saw was a light restriction in the center. He didn't look at what was inside and stopped instead telling Shadowless to not run around. This was because he wasn't the first to come into this room. Before he came in, there was 4 people already. They were discussing HWO to divide the things in the restriction. At least they hadn't reached an agreement now, or this restriction would have been broken already. These 4 were all abstruse, immortal tertiary stage power. The instant EMO came in, they all looked at EMO. Their expression was very strange, as though confused how EMO could find here. "It's you." One tall abstruse immortal tertiary stage called out in shock, clearly recognizing EMO. EMO saw this abstruse immortal tertiary stage and immediately recognized him. This immortal was there when he left with that great unity immortal. EMO had an impression of him because he was very tall. "Brother Lu, you know this person?" Another pretty-eyed immortal asked. "Yes, I know." The tall abstruse immortal saluted with his fists. "Brother Mo, I didn't expect you were this fast too." He knew Yemo's name was Mo-ing from the pink-dressed female immortal. He didn't dare to be rude to someone as powerful as Yemo killed an abstruse immortal tertiary stage in one move and then left with another great unity immortal. It was clear that they were fighting with their lives. Now that Yemo was here, that great unity immortal was probably dead. "How did you come here? Do you have a map too?" The pretty-eyed immortal frowned, seeing Lu knew Yemo and was very respectful to him. Yemo ignored this guy. His eyes scanned to the restriction in the room. There were 2 magic artifact and another jade slip. They were for here. Clearly they couldn't divide things. "Are you deaf? Did you not hear me talking to you?" That pretty-eyed immortal said. He was planning to let Yemo, who might have a map, leave. Yemo's attitude gave him an excuse. But then he looked at Lu with a little concern. The 2 seemed close. However, Lu saw this and saluted with his fists. "Brother Mo, Lu will be going first. The things inside have nothing to do with me." Then he walked to the door. The abstruse immortal with Lu also left without hesitation. They both saw Yemo fight. Yemo wasn't even scared of Great Unity Immortal. Even though they had for here, they were probably no match for Yemo together. Plus, it was just 2 magic artifact here. No need to fight with Yemo seeing this. The pretty-eyed immortal glanced at his friend. He didn't understand why Lu was leaving. Yemo was just an abstruse immortal middle stage. "Wait." Yemo suddenly stopped Lu. Lu shivered, but he stopped and saluted with his fists. "Brother Mo, what do you need of me?" The abstruse immortal tertiary stage with Lu also stopped. "Do you have a map to be able to find here?" Yemo asked. Lu quickly waved his hand. "No, I accidentally found them 2 had a map, so I followed them." "Okay, I have one more thing to ask." Yemo nodded. "Please ask, Brother Mo." Lu had a very good attitude. "When I got the green contribution card, I could easily transfer the points to my card. How come when I got a blue card, I can't transfer it?" Hearing this, Lu's face changed. He definitely didn't believe that Yemo didn't know about the 5 colored contribution cards. Now that he asked this, he was definitely warning him not to speak around. This meant that he had killed that Great Unity Immortal, and that Great Unity Immortal's contribution card was on him. If he dared to do anything, Mo-ing would definitely show no mercy. Little did he know that Yemo actually did know. Even though it was a warning, he didn't dare to not answer. Not only blue cards can't transfer, but even some green cards can't transfer. "Why is this?" Yemo asked in confusion. Seeing that Yemo seemed to really not know, Lu was confused, but he still answered carefully. "Cards above green color can imprint spirit sense mark." "Of course you don't have to." Those with spirit sense mark won't allow other people to transfer contribution points unless he removes the spirit sense mark or control it with his own spirit sense. Yi Mo immediately realized those cards that couldn't be transferred already had spirit sense mark. Seeing Yi Mo frown, Lu added, "The spirit sense mark is marked by the place that distributes the card. Ordinary immortals can't remove it. People who buy contribution jade cards can pay an additional 100k immortal crystals to mark with spirit sense." Yi Mo was annoyed he had a few million contribution points, but how was he to remove the spirit sense mark? "How do you remove the spirit sense mark?" Yi Mo asked. Lu said, "Only the owner of the jade card can remove it. As long as the essence spirit still exists, the spirit sense mark can be removed. Some immortals use their spirit sense mark to trade for the freedom of their essence spirit." "Thank you, Brother Lu." Yi Mo knew where the problem was. Hearing this, Lu saluted with his fists and disappeared in the corridors. As soon as Lu left, Yi Mo thought of another thing. He already killed Suo Fei, and his card also had spirit sense mark. Why did that great unity immortal still want Suo Fei's storage ring? Was it not for his jade card? Now, no matter how dumb the pretty-eyed immortal was, he realized Yi Mo was no ordinary. Otherwise, two abstruse immortal tertiary stage wouldn't immediately leave and be so respectful. The pretty-eyed abstruse immortal smiled and saluted with his fists. "Friend, my surname is Tuesday. There's only us three now. There happens to be 3 things inside. We can have one each." Yi Mo moved his glance from the restriction and said coldly, "Are you blind? Did you not see my look inside?" This abstruse immortal immediately knew Yi Mo was cursing him back for calling him deaf. He looked at his friend and saw him slowly shake his head, clearly signaling him not to start trouble. Yi Mo could see it was a long sword and a blue flying sword inside, but he didn't know what grade they were. "Friend, what do you think of Martial Brother Tiyu's suggestion?" the other abstruse immortal asked. Seeing Yi Mo said nothing. "How about no?" Yi Mo said calmly, "Leave your storage ring and piss off. You're asking to die." Lu couldn't take it anymore and released a black pebble. He threw it out, and his friend also released a huge flag. But before their magic artifact were fully released, Yi Mo's spirit sense blades and world rock smashed out. Thud! Thud! The black pebble was smashed by the world rock. Lu immediately felt he couldn't control it anymore, and then there was this twisting pain in his sea of consciousness. Such a terrifying weighting stone, such strange attack method. Tu immediately knew he was no match for Yi Mo. The difference was too great. Even he and his friend combined was no match for Yi Mo. He finally realized now why Lu immediately left seeing Yi Mo. This guy was no weaker than Great Unity Immortal. "Hang Feng, let's run!" Tu just said this, and was about to run out of the room. Yi Mo's stone smashed at Hang Feng, while a purple ray swept at Tuesday. Hang Feng knew that Yi Mo's power was not on the same level as theirs. He didn't completely release his flag, and was about to dash out of the room before Tuesday. He took the opportunity, and only paid the price of his magic artifact being destroyed, and escaped Yi Mo's world rock. But just when he got to the door, an extremely bored Shadowless charged up. In just 2 strikes, the 2 abstruse immortal were killed by Yi Mo and Shadowless. Yi Mo took the storage rings, but didn't take back world rock. He just smashed at the restriction. Crack! The restriction crippled quickly. This time Yi Mo, SWA, clearly. The blue flying sword was a level 7 immortal artifact. This was top-grade immortal artifact. There another frosty sword that was also level 7 immortal artifact. Yi Mo put away the sword and gave the flying sword to Jin Bingyu in the flying snow orb. Then he picked up that jade slip. It was an immortal range cultivation method, but it was completely useless to Yi Mo, so he threw it into his storage ring. No wonder he asks if I had a map. Yi Mo found a map from 2 storage ring. It was very clear and marked all the routes in the palace clearly. This route didn't clearly say which room had magic artifact, but those people taking this route would go into a room when they see one for sure. There's actually such a clear map. Zhan Bingyu came out of the flying snow orb and saw the map. This map was indeed very clear. Yi Mo was rejoiced that he got such a clear map, but hearing Zhan Bingyu's words, he was confused. This map was indeed very clear, but near the end it seemed to get obscure. This map didn't have a final destination. This is really interesting. Yi Mo put away the map. You're suspecting this map? Zhan Bingyu asked. She knew this map was probably real, or this too wouldn't be able to find this room. I don't doubt the map, but I trust Shadowless more. Yi Mo answered. If he didn't have Shadowless, he would have to follow the map, but he does have Shadowless. So why follow the map? Zhan Bingyu nodded and went into the flying snow orb. She trusted Yi Mo's judgment was correct. This map was a bit strange indeed. Shadowless capabilities were no weaker than the map, or he wouldn't have been able to find here in 9 days. In the next few days, Yi Mo followed Shadowless. Yi Mo felt Shadowless was more powerful than a map. He would find good things every time. He even got 2 level 7 Immortal Spirit Herb. On top of that, Yi Mo collected a lot of cultivation, method jade slip, and magic artifact on the way. Yi Mo compared Shadowless path with the map. Only the first few parts were similar, but then it became completely different. On the 29th day, Yi Mo followed Shadowless through this twisted formation and came to a huge altar. There was a blue stage, and on it was a jade slip. The edge slip was under 2 faint golden materials. Sky Mobility Gold. Yi Mo recognized the 2 golden materials. It was level 7 Immortal Material Sky Mobility Gold. It was for making top-grade flying magic artifact. Yi Mo was immediately interested. Compared to Sky Mobility Gold, other level 7 materials were nothing. Without a doubt, the jade slip under it wouldn't be simple. Yi Mo's spirit sense scanned that aqua stage. He felt that the stage was on par with the Sky Mobility Gold. As tough, it would be very useful to him as well. What was this? Yi Mo hesitated for a moment and decided to break the restriction first, and then put it in his collection before studying. As soon as Yi Mo released the World Rock, he felt an extreme sense of danger. The World Rock instantly blocked behind him. Rumble. A black beam struck World Rock. Yi Mo retreated tens of meters before barely stopping himself. His World Rock was smashed away to the side. Yi Mo was shook. This was the first time he encountered a guy who could hack away World Rock. Such powerful ambush. It was a great Unity Immortal, without a doubt, a rather strong one too. But when Yi Mo settled his mind, he saw the person who stood before him seemed even younger than him. What shocked him even more was that this guy was Abstruse Immortal Tertiary Stage. Yi Mo had always been the one to instant kill Abstruse Immortal. Yet one day an Abstruse Immortal Tertiary Stage almost ambushed him and injured him lightly. The Abstruse Immortal Tertiary Stage was calm and his face sunken like water. He stared at Yi Mo as though contemplating something. In terms of looks, Yi Mo felt he was far from this guy. He was certain this guy was Abstruse Immortal Tertiary Stage indeed. But this ambushing handsome Abstruse Immortal was more shocked, but he didn't show it on his face at all. Ever since he came out, there had never been an Abstruse Immortal to survive under his ambush, much less an Abstruse Immortal Middle Stage. So what if it was Great Unity Immortal he had killed more than a few? Yet, this very young Abstruse Immortal Middle Stage not only stopped his ambush and was unscathed. Where did this guy come from? How could there be such a strong Abstruse Immortal Middle Stage? Was he like himself, having a huge secret? He came for that jade slip. Otherwise, why would he ambush an Abstruse Immortal Middle Stage? That jade slip was too important to him. Who are you here? How did you appear here? The abstruse immortal tertiary stage calmed his shock and stared at Yi Mo asking. He had to know how Yi Mo came. Yi Mo saw this abstruse immortal tertiary stage had a black smoke around his wrist. Was that what struck away World Rock? Who are you? How did you appear here? Yi Mo asked as well. I'm Yan Jiutian. My heritage has left a map, so I came here. Unexpectedly, this abstruse immortal tertiary stage answered pridefully. Your heritage left behind a jade slip? Yi Mo asked, show me. Yi Mo was being unreasonable. He didn't believe this guy would show him. However, Yan Jiutian threw a jade slip at Yi Mo without hesitation. It's here, you can see it. Yi Mo realized that Yan Jiutian was just telling him that the things here doesn't belong to him. Keep dreaming. Since he saw it, he would have to get it. Yi Mo scanned this jade slip and saw it was pretty much the same as what he got from Tuesday. The only difference was Tu's map didn't clearly point to here, but Yan Jiutian's did. Giving the map back, Yi Mo said calmly, my map is different. I have a few paths leading to here, but you only have one. Yan Jiutian's face changed, but then he sneered. I was wondering why. You bought the incomplete map I sold. Does your map only have the route, but not this altar? Yi Mo dazed, selling such map out? Was his brain broken? What did he mean? Yi Mo dazed, selling such map out? Was his brain broken? What did he mean? Yi Mo deigned believe Yan Jiutian was this generous. So the map you got is mine. Of course it's your fortune to get the map, but it's what my heritage left me. I can only ask you to leave. But of course, I will give you compensation. Yan Jiutian wasn't scared of Yi Mo. He desired that jade slip too much. He kenned that with his current power, if he got the jade slip, he would be able to instant kill great immortals. As his power grew, his power to fight beyond his level would be stronger. Even if he had to kill Yi Mo, it would be after he got the thing. He knew Yi Mo was no match for him, but he had to be careful. Hearing this, Yi Mo suddenly thought of something and instantly realized what was going on. He smirked. I believe there's more than one way here, right? Every route would have some good things on the way, but you don't have the time to go collect it all yourself, so you can only ask others to help you. Perhaps you did something on the map. Once you get what's here, you would go find them one by one. Yan Jiutian's face changed again. Yi Mo immediately knew his guess was right. Yan Jiutian was willing to give up the other things in the other routes for the things here. Clearly, it was something substantial. Otherwise, he wouldn't do this. He might not be able to collect back 100% of the things other people with the map got. You're very smart and the most powerful opponent I've encountered. In that case, let's not waste time talking. Before Yan Jiutian finished, the black mist rose up and turned to a thick black shadow smashing towards Yi Mo. The black shadow was extremely fast and tore through the space like a black river tipping. Yi Mo released World Rock and brought with it a huge immortal essence, Whirlpool. The black shadow in the whirlpool also charged at the black flow. After the black flow landed, it seemed overwhelming and dominant. Yi Mo's black World Rock seemed minuscule in this grand flow. Yi Mo was shook and inserted his immortal essence into the World Rock like crazy. Without his help, the World Rock wasn't as powerful as the black flow. Rumble. The World Rock and the black flow collided together. Immortal essence scattered everywhere, exploding on the sturdy floor. 10-meter deep ravines were created. The black ray and black mist splashed away onto the restriction on the altar. Yi Mo flew back, and the World Rock was smashed to the side again. This was smashed away in a head-on clash, not in an ambush. Yan Jiutian's immortal essence was on par with him, and his spirit sense was on par with him too. Yi Mo didn't know what the black mist flow was, but it seemed harder than his World Rock. Yan Jiutian didn't get the upper hand too. The mist flow split apart as though about to dissipate. But when Yan Jiutian stabilized himself, the mist quickly gathered together and circulated around Yan Jiutian. Yan Jiutian grunted and suddenly lifted his hand. The black mist turned into multiple black arrows and flew towards Yimo. Suddenly a silver dragon appeared next to him. Yan Jiutian patted the dragon's back, tear him apart. Shoo! Tens of black lines pressed towards Yimo, while the silver dragon chased right after. Yimo knew that such weapon was divided from a magic artifact that could fight with the world rock. Even his immortal nirvana body can't take a hit head-on. Yan Jiutian's power was far beyond Yimo's expectations. The lines looked ordinary, but all the space around him was locked by the flying arrow. He had no other way but to take it head-on. Yimo released Octagonal Cauldron and smashed at the silver dragon with the world rock. Rumble. The black arrows shot on Octagonal Cauldron, creating huge explosive sounds. Yimo's sea of consciousness ached as he spat multiple mouthful of blood. There was a cracking sound. Yimo knew the Octagonal Cauldron cracked. Yimo knew the Octagonal Cauldron came from a very mysterious place, the Truthfall Palace Forbidden Grounds, where the World Mountain was. He could only control 5 levels of restrictions inside and couldn't control anymore. Yet, such a magic artifact actually shattered under the black arrows. Thud! The world rock smashed with the silver dragon. Blood mist sprayed. The silver dragon stopped the world rock but was smashed to the side and instantly retreated back to Yan Jiutian. He looked at Yimo with a sliver of fear. Yimo quickly put the Octagonal Cauldron back in his ring and didn't even have time to eat pills. He released Su, which turned into a purple ray and smashed down at Yan Jiutian. Yan Jiutian was starting to attack the restriction now. Even though Yimo was heavily injured, how could he let this guy have what he wanted? Yan Jiutian saw Yimo was fine again and just spat a few mouthful of blood. He was even more shocked. The black arrows gathered into the mist again. Yan Jiutian's face looked bad. Never had he thought he would fight so arduously with an abstruse immortal middle stage. When the purple ray came, the mist turned into a spear and stopped the purple ray like a ghost. Purple ray splashed around, but the spear didn't move at all. Yan Jiutian didn't keep attacking Yimo, nor did Yimo keep attacking Yan Jiutian. Yimo had the lower hand in the battle and was a little injured. You're the strongest abstruse immortal middle stage I've seen, but it ends today. Pity, you had a bright future ahead of you. Yan Jiutian held the black spear and didn't care about the heavily injured silver dragon. Silly attack. Then Yan Jiutian brought a flurry of spear shadows and smashed at Yimo. He knew he wouldn't be able to get what he wanted if he didn't kill Yimo. Yimo sighed. Yimo was scared of this guy defending. If Yan Jiutian didn't take the offensive, he really didn't know what to do. The world rock smashed at the dragon again. The dragon was already very scared of the world rock, but he didn't dare to retreat. He could only roar and charge at the world rock. Die! Yan Jiutian roared as he attacked Yimo. The explosive immortal essence was like a terrifying mountain. Before Yan Jiutian even neared Yimo, it already pressed towards Yimo without mercy. Yimo grunted. His immortal essence and spirit sense rushed. He hadn't released Lightning Sword yet, but the lightning lights already surrounded him. Lightning element, Yan Jiutian stared at this lightning in shock. But, so what if Yimo was lightning? Who'd escape when he was determined to kill him? Yimo felt a very terrifying thing emit from Yan Jiutian, but he didn't know what it was. He can't be any slower, Shadowless charged up. Su released a shocking purple beam, tearing the distance between him and Yan Jiutian. Illusion Cloud, Hua Mountain Strike, kill! Lightning Sword Rumble. Yan Jiutian suddenly had the impression that something was ambushing his meridians. No, something really was ambushing his meridians. Rumble. Su clashed with the black spear. Su didn't stop at all. Illusion Cloud, Hua Mountain Strike. The strike of one road and no return. But Yan Zhuqian felt his black spear pause for that brief moment when clashing with Yimo, but that was enough for Yimo. Rumble, rumble. At the same time, Yimo's lightning sword smashed down. Seeing Zisu's force, Yimo knew it should be fine hacking open this terrifying mist spear. Now that Yan Zhuqian was ambushed by Shadowless and paused for a moment, he wouldn't be able to escape his lightning sword. Splurge! Zisu hacked on Yan Zhuqian's chest, but Yimo dazed. He almost didn't believe his eyes. He clearly felt the distance between Zisu and Yan Zhuqian suddenly increase. The strike that should have sliced Yan Zhuqian in half only left a deep gash on Yan Zhuqian. The main reason was that the distance between them suddenly increased, without any premonition. Yimo was certain that increase in distance wasn't something that could be achieved by Yan Zhuqian retreating. Yan Zhuqian couldn't retreat. He was certain that space appeared out of nowhere, just like how the nine-headed void-devouring bug makes space disappear for no reason. Now, space appeared for no reason. Space law, Yimo called out in shock. He instantly realized Yan Zhuqian was a mere abstruse immortal tertiary stage, but he learned a sliver of space law. This was too terrifying. This was something only top-status immortals could learn. One at least had to be above a mortal king to learn this, or must be a very talented immortal king. Yan Zhuqian was only an abstruse immortal tertiary stage. This was different to the nine-headed void-devouring bug. That nine-headed void-devouring bug had a natural ability, but Yan Zhuqian truly learned this space god art. Yimo also knew why he felt this terrifying thing on Yan Zhuqian. This guy touched on space law. Thud suddenly. The black spear split and still pierced into Yimo's chest. The spear couldn't penetrate Yimo entirely, but he splashed no lesser blood than Yan Zhuqian. Immortal nirvana body. Yan Zhuqian was no less shocked than Yimo. Yimo was only an abstruse immortal middle stage. His means were this terrifying and was an immortal nirvana body. Just where did this insane, abstruse immortal come out from? What ambushed him before? The silver dragon was smashed again and looked even more withered. He retreated next to Yan Zhuqian. Although Yimo and Yan Zhuqian were both heavily injured, Yimo was a mortal nirvana body and recovered much faster than Yan Zhuqian. Yan Zhuqian knew that if it wasn't for his space law, he would have lost his life. Seeing Yimo's power rise again, he knew that if he stayed here today, he would probably die. He felt very depressed. He would smirk in contempt if someone said he was no match for an abstruse immortal middle stage, but now he Eroli was no match for an abstruse immortal middle stage. It's not that he wasn't strong, but this abstruse immortal middle stage was too absurd. He was certain Yimo didn't hide his power, lightning element, immortal nirvana body, and such terrifying means. I see. Yan Zhuqian ate a few pills, and his force rose drastically. He knew he was no match for Yimo, but he really didn't want to leave this place. I just want that jade slip. You can have the rest, and I'll give you 5 million contribution points. Yan Zhuqian said heavily. Yimo seemed like he didn't hear this. He suffered this much today, and this bastard wants him to compromise. Keep dreaming. Zisu sliced out again. Illusion cloud domain kill strike. Purple sprayed all over the heavens. Feeling the space around him change, Yan Zhuqian's face changed. He still had killing blows he didn't use, but he knew Yimo also had killing blows he didn't use. Yan Zhuqian didn't hesitate at all now. The black mist circulating around him exploded and instantly formed a dark ray. The jade slip was important, but it wasn't as important as his life. When Zisu sliced across, the dark ray disappeared. So powerful. Yimo ate a few pills and felt very threatened by this Yan Zhuqian. Although he won today, that was because Yan Zhuqian couldn't completely use his space law, and Yan Zhuqian didn't know he had so many means. If the two met again, it wouldn't be so simple to gain the upper hand. Yan Jiutian was the most powerful same-level opponent he had encountered. That black mist was even a little more powerful than World Rock. If possible, Yi Mo would kill Yan Jiutian at all costs, but he knew he wouldn't be able to stop Yan Jiutian from going. Yi Mo sighed and smashed the World Rock on the restriction. After the restriction was broken, Yi Mo immediately charged on the stage. He took the Sky Mobility Gold and the Jade Slip while sweeping away the Aqua Stage into his Golden Page world. As soon as he did this, the altar lit up. Yi Mo was immediately about to charge out, but he couldn't resist at all and was surrounded by the light and disappeared. Yi Mo calmed down once he was bound by the light. He knew this was probably a teleportation formation. He didn't know where it was but he couldn't tell it was a teleportation formation before at all. Yi Mo felt a little dizzy. He forcefully controlled his sea of consciousness, making himself stay conscious. Luckily, this process wasn't long, and in just tens of seconds, Yi Mo fell to the ground. Yi Mo looked dazedly at what was before him. A huge, grand, and ancient palace appeared before him. This gigantic force made Yi Mo even want to kneel down and pray to this palace. Yi Mo forcefully hacked out a few spirit sense blades in his sea of consciousness and barely controlled this urge to kneel down. He was shocked. What was this place? After a long while, Yi Mo came back to his senses and studied this palace. It wasn't big, but it was very tall. Even his spirit sense couldn't reach the top. There was a huge altar in front of the palace. There was a few candles burning on the side. These few candles gave him an extremely eerie feeling. What candle was this, burning after all these years? Yi Mo walked a step forward. Quang! A soul-shocking sound appeared in his sea of consciousness. Yi Mo subconsciously shivered. Was this footstep sound? Yi Mo didn't keep going forward. He carefully scanned the 8 candles before reaching a golden statue. It was a very fat middle-aged man, but he seemed ethereal. Before Yi Mo moved his spirit sense away, that same sound appeared again. Those who vindicate my Tao, receives my heritage, serve me as master kneel. Those who vindicate my Tao, receives my heritage, serve me as master kneel. This sound repeated again and again as though striking the depth of one's soul. Yi Mo suddenly had this intense, pious urge to kneel and worship, but the next moment, the 3-birth chant led immortal essence in cycles and shivered Yi Mo. Before he could do anything, Zheng Bingyu dashed out of the flying snow orb. Yi Mo caught her the instant she came out. Before she could kneel down, he knocked her out and sent her into the flying snow orb. Yi Mo closed his eyes and ran the 3-birth chant like crazy. That pestering sound slowly dissipated from his brain, but it was still in the palace. After a long while, Yi Mo opened his eyes. If it was someone else, he would have probably knelt down, even that Yan Jiutian. Sending him off was helping him. Yi Mo had always been cultivating under the bitter bamboo and used the 3-birth chant born from the chaos. His mind was firm like a boulder. Even Heart Demon couldn't affect him. Although Yi Mo hadn't come into contact with Tao Vindication Masters, but he wasn't an idiot about Tao. The 3-birth chant thought that Tao, people created itself. Those who achieve great Tao are born from all the things in the world. Tao gives birth to one becomes everything. This everything includes himself, but Yi Mo knew that no Tao could be vindicated from someone else. Tao vindication came from relying on one's own great wisdom, perseverance, and fortune. Yet the first thing this palace said was, those who vindicate my Tao. It was completely opposite to his understanding of Tao. Even though Yi Mo couldn't derive Tao, he didn't believe Tao could be vindicated from someone else or use someone else's heritage to vindicate Tao. Even though Yi Mo couldn't derive Tao, he didn't believe Tao could be vindicated from someone else or use someone else's heritage to vindicate Tao. There were millions of ways to Tao vindication, but not a single one was made by others and ready for you to use. Each Tao Vindicator had his own path. Of course, the prerequisite for this was the ability to think and stop worship. Yi Mo had the ability to think and didn't lose his consciousness. Facing against this sound, the higher the power, the more enticing it would be. Realizing this, Yi Mo completely ignored that sound. After focusing his mind, Yi Mo set his gaze on the altar again. There were also a few jade slips on it, and in the center of the 8 candles, there was a subtle light flickering. Yi Mo felt the light seemed to be alive, or perhaps was the heritage light of that sound. Yi Mo calmed down. He gave up taking the jade slips, no matter how good the cultivation method. He didn't believe it would be as good as 3-birth chant. But then Yi Mo was shook. He realized he couldn't get out at all. Everything around him was empty. The only thing he could see was that 8 candles and the jade slip in the center, as well as that light. Yi Mo's spirit sense scanned to the top of the palace. It seemed high and low at the same time. Sometimes you could touch it. Sometimes you didn't know how high it was. This entire palace seemed to be big and small variably. Seeing this, Yi Mo's heart sunk. He had a bad feeling. It seemed that after entering this palace, he had no choice but to accept the heritage. This was a very eerie palace. If it was someone else here, this palace would not only not be eerie, but the bright lantern leading him to Tao Vindication. After a long while, Yi Mo took another step forward. The soul-shaking voice in his mind grew more intense. Yi Mo had a feeling that if he knelt down and crawled forward piously, he would be able to get to the altar quickly. Yi Mo closed his eyes and didn't keep going forward. He wanted to find a way out. After calming down again, Yi Mo took forward a big step, but soon he found that the sound was ever more penetrating. What shook Yi Mo more was that after he took the step, he found that he didn't seem to have moved at all. Space law, Yi Mo murmured to himself with a bad face. He appeared in a palace with space law. He was certain that there didn't seem to be another way out but to accept the heritage. At the same time, he realized why Yen Jiuqian had such a map. He wasn't lying when he said his heritage left this. His heritage probably let him come here to receive Tao Vindication heritage. Pity, he was sent running away before coming in here. Perhaps he really helped this Yen Jiuqian. It must be a very powerful being to have left the heritage here. Otherwise, no matter how talented Yen Jiuqian was, he wouldn't be able to fight on par with him at abstruse immortal tertiary stage. Yi Mo knew there was no point in panicking. It would make him lose his wits and fall into that heritage eventually. Now the only other possibility of getting out was if he learned a sliver of space law too. In order to prevent Zhan Bingyu from waking up and keep charging out, Yi Mo took out away the control rights of flying snow orb and closed his eyes, starting to derive the space laws around him. Yi Mo relied on not his abstruse immortal middle stage power, but the 3-birth chant. That Yen Jiuqian could learn a sliver of space law. He didn't believe he couldn't. Yi Mo knew he couldn't take out the time formation disk. One was the risk of exposing it. Second, time formation disk used time law. He wasn't sure if the two would conflict. Days passed by, and the Mist Demon Palace had been open for 3 months now. All sorts of things happened inside, but no one knew that Yi Mo had stood there silently for a few months. Another month passed, and Yi Mo suddenly opened his eyes. He took a long breath. The palace was still the same, but he felt a little different. He realized that this palace only had fragmented space law. He didn't know what real space law was, but the derivation the 3-birth chant gave him was that only space law that could entwine with time law was true space law. Different space appeared in different time. When he realized one day how to connect different space and different time, he would completely understand space law. But now, just like Yen Jiuqian, he only knew a sliver, but this sliver was enough for him. The next moment, Yi Mo suddenly took a few steps and then moved 1 step to the side. An extremely bright light shone down, and Yi Mo took a long breath. He knew the scene before him clearly. It was Pingpiao Plain. It only took him a few steps to leave that palace and come out into the plain. not the mist demon palace. In just 4 months, Yemo could learn a sliver of space law and leave from that palace. Even he felt a sense of accomplishment. He knew he couldn't use space law into battle like Yen Jiutian yet, but it was only a matter of time. After Yemo removed the restriction of flying snow orb, he sent a news to Zhen Bingyu and quickly left there. A day later, Yemo found a quiet place and took out that jade slip immediately. Yemo really wanted to know what it was for Yen Jiutian to desire it so much. When Yemo scanned his spirit sense-in, he found it was an incomplete jade slip. It was heavily incomplete, but it kept at the depth of the mist demon place under 2 sky mobility golds. The words on it was very obscure. Yemo took a long while to recognize it. Spirit will 9 transformations. Yemo's hands shook, almost dropping the jade slip. Spirit will with spirit sense. Spirit will 9 transformations. Was spirit sense 9 transformations? Did he get a spirit sense cultivation method? This was what he wanted since the cultivation realm, but never got. Yemo's heart skipped rapidly. The extreme number of the heavens was 9. All those cultivation method, called 9, were extreme grade cultivation method. Even if it wasn't the best in the world, it was extremely hard to get just like his flying sword. Yemo knew the power of spirit sense cultivation method. He derived the lowest one from the 3-eyed purple frog, but it was 2 level. He couldn't even use spirit sense cultivation method to cultivate his spirit sense. Only other treasures. To Yemo, spirit sense cultivation method would be the most helpful cultivation method to him other than 3-birth chant. If this spirit will 9 transformations was really a spirit sense cultivation method, then he would have a new beginning. It didn't matter it was incomplete. As long as he had some hint at the start, he would be able to use 3-birth chant to derive a new cultivation method. No wonder Yen Jiutian wanted this so bad. If Yen Jiutian really took it, how could he be a match for him the next time they meet? If Yen Jiutian had the other part to it, one could foresee that after he completely learned spirit will 9 transformations, he would be invincible. Yemo took a long breath and suppressed the excitement in his heart. He scanned his spirit sense inside. He knew now wasn't the time to study it, but it was too enticing. Spirit will 9 transformations. Spirit sends 1 transformation into blades. Blades of thousands, sever enemy sea of consciousness, dominate everywhere. Yemo just realized that his previous spirit sense cultivation method after working on it for so long was only the first transformation and was incomplete too. If it was the true first transformation, it should be much more powerful than this. Now, Yemo had greater hopes for spirit will 9 transformations. He really wanted to know who would be more powerful, his newly derived spirit will 9 transformations or Yen Jiutian's space law. Before Yemo finished reading the first transformation, a huge explosion sounded. Yemo immediately put away the jade slip and scanned his spirit sense out. Before Yemo finished reading the first transformation, a huge explosion sounded. Yemo immediately put away the jade slip and scanned his spirit sense out. Yemo saw Brother Xian and his team. The explosion was 2 abstruse immortals fighting. It was Brother Xian fighting another abstruse immortal tertiary stage. That abstruse immortal tertiary stage also had 3 behind him. The 2 teams were clearly fighting for something. Seeing the situation, Brother Xian clearly had the upper hand. The other 6 didn't fight. Clearly they were letting the result of this battle decide the outcome. Yemo could tell that one of the 3 on the Toher side was abstruse immortal middle stage. Brother Xian's team had higher overall power, but Brother Xian was still willing to fight one-on-one. He was indeed an open and upright person. Yemo wasn't interested in such battle at all. He knew that no matter how much he wanted to study the spirit will 9 transformations, Pingpiao Plains wasn't a good place. He had to find a quiet place and go into solitary cultivation. Yi-mo had decided to stay at the plane for a year. If he could reach top 50, he would go to the lightning immortal well. If not, he would find a place for solitary cultivation and use the Du Luo heaven fruit to reach abstruse immortal peak stage and then break through to great unity immortal. The reason he doesn't break through to great unity immortal now was because he knew if he reached great unity immortal now, he wouldn't get a chance to reach top 50 at least in the short term. The top 50 of heaven immortal rank was 10 million points, but for great immortals, top 50 was 100 million. Just when Yi-mo was about to take back his spirit sense, he saw two more immortals fly over and landed near where the fight was. Yi-mo knew this person. It was that great unity immortal who made him hand over the Du Luo heaven fruit. Yi-mo wasn't planning to go over, but seeing this great unity immortal, Yi-mo was immediately annoyed. This guy dared to mark him with spirit sense mark and only left because the Mist Demon Palace was opening. If he didn't see this guy, then never mind, but now that he saw this guy, Yi-mo released Zisu and flew over without hesitation. The battle stopped as soon as the Great Unity Immortal came over. The two sides were originally against each other, but now they were all against this Great Unity Immortal. There's a mud lotus, you guys are quite lucky. Oh no, I'm quite lucky. That Great Unity Immortal could see an extremely hidden mud lotus, but it was revealed now. The Great Unity Immortal said to Brother Xian and them, "Okay, you can all go now. I'll have this mud lotus now." "What for?" "We found this first. The fight is between us 8. You're going to be this domineering just because you're a little stronger." The abstruse immortal middle stage said unhappily. He thought that if all 8 of them attacked together, they would still have a chance. He had seen 4 abstruse immortal work together to kill a great unity immortal. But now there was 8 of them. Because of my flying sword, the great unity immortal raised his hand and a faint yellow beam flashed. It shot instantly at the abstruse immortal middle stage's neck. The abstruse immortal middle stage didn't seem to be weak and immediately tried to dodge, but then he felt the space around him slow and he could only barely move his neck aside, but the flying sword sliced across his shoulder. Blood shot out. The abstruse immortal middle stage's face was scarily pale. None of the people dared to say a thing. He didn't even dare to pick up his shoulder. This great unity immortal was scary to this extent. He couldn't even resist. The great unity immortal saw the abstruse immortal middle stage avoided death and took back the flying sword before saying coldly, "Seeing as you dodge that, I won't take things seriously with an insect like you. I'm going to take the mud lotus now. Who disagrees?" "I disagree." To the surprise of the great unity immortal, someone actually said something. But then he relayed the voice didn't come from the 8 people, but from the side. How did he not notice this person at all? Just from this, he knew he was no match for this person. The rest of the people all saw a purple light land. "It's you!" The great unity immortal clearly knew Yi-mo. Yi-mo left with another great unity immortal, and he saw this clearly. He even heard the loud battle sounds of Yi-mo with the other great unity immortal. Now that Yi-mo was here, one didn't even need to guess what happened to that great unity immortal. He was already very concerned with Yi-mo at the entrance to the palace. Now that Yi-mo came over without any fear, he was concerned even more. "It's you!" Brother Xian and them recognized Yi-mo too. The other 4 didn't know Yi-mo, but when they saw it was an abstruse immortal middle stage, disagreeing, they were all shook. Was there someone who really didn't fear death for a mud lotus? "Brother Xian, long time no see." Yi-mo smiled and saluted with his fists to Brother Xian. Yes, long time no see." Brother Xian quickly saluted with his fists. "Cough, cough. So it's friend." The great unity immortal's face looked really bad. He knew he was probably no match for Yi-mo. Otherwise, how did Yi-mo dare to be this cocky? Yi-mo sneered. "I don't remember when we're friends, but I'm a very credible person. Before I went into the palace, you made me hand up my immortal spirit herb. I remember that, now that I see you. I came quickly to give my immortal spirit herb." "Friend, you're funny, ha ha ha." The great unity immortal's face was bad. He knew Yemo was cruel and vengeful. There were 2,000 people at the entrance, and great extreme immortal there, but he dared to kill an abstruse immortal tertiary stage, who offended him. It seemed a battle was unavoidable. Brother Sien and them saw the great unity immortal act like this, and was confused. The other 4 were completely dazed. An abstruse immortal middle stage was clearly threatening a great unity immortal, and this great unity immortal didn't dare to retaliate. The abstruse immortal middle stage quickly picked up his shoulder and ate a few pills. Seeing Yemo just sneer, the great unity immortal's heart was cold. If Yemo could kill another great unity immortal, he could kill him. Plus, he didn't feel it was worth fighting someone like Yemo for a mud lotus. He was great unity immortal. Mud lotus could at most be used to make great unity pills. It wasn't much use to him. Since friend disagrees, I won't have this mud lotus, goodbye. The great unity immortal saluted with his fists and was about to go. Yemo laughed. Is the mud lotus yours? You seem to have come after. What do you want? The great unity immortal frowned. He was ready to release his magic artifact. They might have to fight, he added. I have no enmity with you. Why do you have to start trouble with me? Did you not mark me? I have a lot of good things, but I hate people scheming for it. Yemo laughed, and his force rose drastically. The great unity immortal's face was green, and he suddenly roared. If you want to fight, then fight. Don't think Jin Bingchao, is scared of you. Yemo's power burst up, but he didn't have to fight this Jin Bingchao. He definitely wasn't scared of him, but he had too many secrets. He would prefer not exposing them. Yemo's power burst up, but he didn't have to fight this Shen Bingchao. He definitely wasn't scared of him, but he had too many secrets. He would prefer not exposing them. The main reason he came here was to ask for benefits. If Zhen Bingchao planned to give nothing, then don't blame him. He wanted to rob him first, so now he was here to get back at him. We can fight, of course, but if I fight, I might not be able to stop myself. That Suo Fei wants my things at the Mist Demon Palace in trance. I didn't stop myself in time and caused some regrets. As soon as Yemo said this, Jin Bingchao's heart went cold. From what Yemo said, that great unity immortal really was killed by him. What do you want? Zhen Bingchao's tone softened again. If possible, he really didn't want to fight with Yemo. He was dominant, but also careful. Even if he was going to rob, he would rob people who were far weaker than him. If there was someone who could threaten him, he wouldn't act tough. This was why he could reach great unity immortal. He was cruel but clear-minded. Yemo nodded. You marked me with spirit sense mark for no reason, making me worry more. I don't have any other hobbies, but I like to collect some contribution points. Zhan Bingchao cursed, worry my asshole. Who doesn't like contribution points? How much contribution points do you want? Jin Bingchao asked. Yemo really wanted to ask how much do you have, but he knew if he asked this they would end up fighting. That Suo Fei had 1 million or so this Jin Bingchao shouldn't have lower than 1 million. He'll just take half. Yemo said 500k. What? Jin Bingchao dazed. He only had 700k altogether. Even though he knew he was no match for Yemo, he would still fight. If he couldn't beat Yemo, he would run, but what if he couldn't run? Zhen Bingchao was a little hesitant. The abstruse immortals around dazed. Yemo was too cruel asking for 500k contribution points straight up. It was hard, even for Great Unity Immortal, to take out 500k contribution points. I only have 700k contribution points. If you're willing, I can give you 300k. If you don't agree to that, then we'll have to fight. The Great Unity Immortal couldn't take it after being oppressed like this. Yemo frowned. He wasn't afraid of fighting Jin Bingchao, but his main purpose was contribution points. Zhen Bingchao seemed to be lying. Thinking about this, Yemo took out Sui Fei's Aqua contribution card. Can you swipe out some of the contribution points in here? If you can, I can ask less of you. Seeing this, Zhan Bingchao's heart went cold again. His last sliver of hope was gone. This Aqua Jade card was definitely Great Unity Immortal. Perhaps the Great Unity Immortal who chased Yi Mo before. Without a doubt, he was killed if his Jade card was in Yi Mo's hands. Immortal friend Yi Mo, I can't open this spirit sense mark, but I have a way to sell out 30% of the contribution points inside. Zhan Bingchao's tone grew even weaker. The courage he just summoned up was gone. Hearing this, he gave a few jade cards, all to Zhan Bingchao, and said, I'll give you all the jade cards here. Give me your contribution points. Zhan Bingchao took the jade cards and found there was even one with 2 million contribution points. He was shocked. If he exchanged all these jade cards, he could get nearly 100 million contribution points. He would be earning. Even if he wasn't earning, he wouldn't want to fight with Yi Mo anymore. Sure. Zhan Bingchao took out his jade card and removed the spirit sense mark and gave it to Yi Mo. Took the card and found there was indeed only 700k points. He swiped it all to his card without hesitation. Taking the jade card Yi Mo threw back. Zhan Bingchao didn't even look and quickly saluted with his fists. Goodbye. The abstruse immortals here looked dazedly at this deal. The main thing was that Yi Mo used a yellow jade card. This was the lowest grade. Even a golden immortal rarely used that. Seeing Zhan Bingchao and the other abstruse immortal tertiary stage disappear, Brother Xian came up to Yi Mo. Brother Mo, thanks for helping. You deserve this mud lotus. Yi Mo had too many of them. He didn't care about one. Yi Mo quickly waved his hand. No need, I'm not interested in that thing. Although Yi Mo didn't fight at all, people from both sides saw Yi Mo's power. The other team quickly saluted with his fists. We won't take this mud lotus. Brother Xian was a rather righteous person and said, We'll give you some contribution points then. Hearing this, Yi Mo thought and asked Brother Xian, How much contribution points is needed for a great unity immortal ill? Good quality ones usually cost 1 million contribution points. Some abstruse immortal wouldn't be able to save up this many points after countless years. Brother Xian answered. Yi Mo thought he had so many great unity immortal pills. If he sold them all, wouldn't he immediately be rich? But then he immediately gave up the thought. Great unity immortal pills were the top resource of big sections. If so many great unity immortal pills suddenly appeared, people would definitely investigate. He was only a mere abstruse immortal middle stage, not enough to fight against even a finger of great eternity immortal. Brother Xian, I also want to ask where there is more level 4 demonic immortal spirit beast. Yi Mo said. Brother Xian quickly took out a jade slip and said, The blue area in this jade slip are where the level 4 and level 5 demonic immortal spirit beast are at. You must not go to the red areas. Why not? Yi Mo asked. Because it's where they gather in masses. If you go in, there's no chance for survival. Brother Xian quickly said. Yi Mo realized when he got the Luo Heaven fruit, he encountered countless demonic immortal spirit beast. It must be because those immortals went to the red area and were chased. But this also meant that there would be good treasures there. In that case, goodbye. Yi Mo was going to leave. Brother Mo, wait. That red-robed female immortal stopped Yi Mo. Mo immediately knew what she wanted to say, so he said, My friend is very safe, thanks for your concern. Then Yi Mo took out Zisu and disappeared. He's probably a great unity immortal Qianbei, right? The abstruse immortal tertiary stage fighting Brother Xian asked. I don't know, but I saw him kill an abstruse immortal same power as me in one move. Brother Xian shook his head. He's that powerful. The other 4 abstruse immortal finally realized what that great unity immortal would take out his contribution points and leave. Yi Mo wasn't interested in the blue areas. Level 4 and level 5 demonic immortal spirit beast weren't easy to deal with. To him, the best was level 3, the more the better. He went to the red-marked area. Yi-Mo stood before a red forest and scanned his spirit sense in. This was the red-marked place on the jade slip. There was 3 red circles around this place, showing just how many demonic, immortal spirit beasts there were. Yi-Mo stood before a red forest and scanned his spirit sense in. This was the red-marked place on the jade slip. There was 3 red circles around this place, showing just how many demonic, immortal spirit beasts there were. The reason Yi-Mo came here was because this was the closest. Checking out the surroundings, Yi-Mo went in the forest without hesitation. He was ready to leave if he saw that he couldn't take on this place. There were only some level 2 demonic, immortal spirit beast at the outside, but the deeper Yi-Mo went, there were more. After 15 minutes, Yi-Mo stopped. This was far from the depth of the forest. It was still the outskirts, but there were dense clusters of demonic, immortal spirit beast. Just how many would there be in the depth? Luckily, these were all level 2 and level 3. There weren't level 4. If they were all level 4, Yi-Mo would leave without hesitation. There were more than 10,000 around him now. In just a few seconds, Yi-Mo was completely surrounded. Countless demonic blades, chains flooded him. After ensuring there was not a single level 4 demonic, immortal spirit beast, Yi-Mo immediately released Heaven Flame 9 suns. 2 purple suns were released, and the dense clusters of demonic, immortal spirit beast crippled under them. But soon, more demonic, immortal spirit beast replaced the annihilated ones. They charged at Yi-Mo tirelessly. Yi-Mo breathed easy. 2 suns were much less taxing on his spirit sense than 4. There weren't level 4 demonic, immortal spirit beast, so 2 suns were perfect. As more and more demonic, immortal spirit beast came, the piles of beast cores around Yi-Mo stacked higher. Yi-Mo couldn't even collect them now. Even though 2 suns were less taxing on spirit sense, he still couldn't take it. Zhan Bingyu saw in the flying snow orb that Yi-Mo used all his efforts to take on the demonic, immortal spirit beast, so she quickly flew out and helped Yi-Mo collect those beast cores. Otherwise, in time, those level 2 beast cores would melt. Seeing Zhan Bingyu come help, Yi-Mo breathed easy a little. He ate 2 dual spirit pills. He knew that he couldn't continue like this, even if there wasn't level 4 demonic, immortal spirit beast coming. He signaled Zhan Bingyu to focus on collecting beast cores, and through his contribution, Point Jade card to Zhan Bingyu. Then he used Spirit Will 9 transformations. The main use of Heaven Flame 9 suns was on spirit sense. If Spirit Will 9 transformations could allow him to maintain his spirit sense or exert very little, perhaps he would really be able to collect the contribution points he needed here. Spirit Will 1 transformation to Blades, 2nd transformation Shatter Spirit and Break, C, 3rd transformation Domain Birth, 4th transformation Magic Fuse, 5th transformation Realm Form, 6th transformation Nirvana, 7th transformation Void, 8th transformation Samsara, 9th transformation Become One. At the 2nd transformation of Spirit Sense, it could sever the spirit sense other people extend out. At the extreme, one could even shatter someone's sea of consciousness. The 3rd transformation was when Domain was formed. One could form his own spirit sense domain. At the 4th transformation, one could fuse his most powerful magic into the spirit sense. It wouldn't be simply spirit sense blades anymore. Any of his fire element or ice element could be instantly activated with spirit sense. It could be said that at the 4th transformation, one could kill Immortal King as Great Immortal. But this Spirit Will 9 transformations was fragmented. There was only the cultivation method for the first 4 transformations. But to Yi-Mo it didn't matter. He could use his 3-birth chant to slowly derive the cultivation method. Yi-Mo now realized that the things he derived before were similar, but not really. His spirit sense, domain, didn't have that much power nor a clear level. Although he had 3 birth chant, but he didn't have anyone to teach him nor any hints. Any of these cultivation methods were formed after the experience of countless years and countless powerful beings. His 3 birth chant was formed in the chaos after countless years. As for the 5th transformation forming one sea of consciousness world, Yemo believed the corner soul domain in the chaos star realm was probably the sea of consciousness world of Wushuang Immortal Emperor. From this, it was clear that Mu Wushuang not only had spirit sense cultivation method, but reached at least the 5th transformation. Yemo slowly sunk into the spirit 9 transformations. Even though his purple eye soul sever wasn't completely right, it wasn't completely wrong. At least his first transformation was completely correct. So he didn't need to cultivate the spirit sense, turning into blades. He just skipped to the 2nd transformation, spirit shatter. It wasn't hard, but in order to reach a high level, one needed tens of thousands of years. The first step to level 2 was to sever other people's spirit sense. This was very important in battle. When Yemo was deriving the purple eye soul sever, it could also sever people's spirit sense, but its power was too weak. Instead of severing it was more like interference. This was only effective against people with weaker spirit sense than him. If someone had the same spirit sense as him, he wouldn't even dare to use it, as he would be backlashed. This spirit 9 transformations was completely different. If a cultivation method was only effective against people weaker than you, it would be meaningless. Purple Eye Soul Sever was a cultivation method that was pointless. The reason he could use it against people was because his spirit sense was too powerful. The spirit 9 transformations also provided a direction for spirit sense cultivation. If there was enough time, Yemo would just look at this cultivation method and start deriving his own spirit 9 transformations. But now he didn't have the time to, so he could only cultivate according to it. The demonic immortal spirit beast kept charging at Yemo, and Yemo's 2 sons didn't weaken at all. He protected him and shunned Bingyu inside. The demonic immortal spirit beast kept dropping beast cores, and Zhan Bingyu kept collecting them. Meanwhile, Yemo went into a state for self-forget. Yemo used the spirit 9 transformations way of refining his spirit sense. Zhan Bingyu knew Yemo's son was powerful, but it couldn't last long. However, now she found that days had gone by and the 2 sons still hung in the air. Yemo didn't even realize that at the beginning he still used pills for cultivation, but later on he didn't even use that too. When there were more demonic immortal spirit beast, the sons would grow larger. When there were less demonic immortal spirit beast, the sons could grow smaller. At the start, Zhan Bingyu was amazed at Yemo's spirit sense, but after a month or so, Zhan Bingyu felt something as wrong. Yemo seemed to have lost his senses. He just numbly slaughtered demonic immortal spirit beast and was expressionless. What worried her even more was that Yemo's skin started to get red and cold, but yet he was using a heaven flame. "Martial brother Yi, are you all right?" Zhan Bingyu called. There was some motion in Yemo's eyes, but he still didn't move. Now, Zhan Bingyu realized Yemo was in trouble. She gathered all her spirit sense power and yelled, "Yemo!" Yemo's body shook and spat many mouthful of blood, of purple blood. His face was pale like snow. "Bastard!" Yemo woke up and immediately put away Heaven Flame 9 Sons. Then he said, "Let's go!" Zhan Bingyu flew into the flying snow orb without hesitation. Su splashed out a purple view, clearing the demonic immortal spirit beast ahead. Then, in a faint, dashing light, Yemo disappeared. Yemo flew just for half an hour after leaving the Red Forest and stopped. He spotted another mouthful of blood and used earth mobility. What happened? Zhan Bingyu immediately asked worriedly. "I was ambushed by that bastard. Thanks for saving me. I need to recover. Don't talk to me." Yemo came to where he cultivated before and set up a stealth formation before going into the Golden Page world. The reason Qing Mo Immortal City could become one of the top 10 immortal city of Zhongpiao Heaven was not because it was big nor popular, but because of Blue Lightning Mountain. The reason Qing Mo Immortal City could become one of the top 10 immortal city of Zhongpiao Heaven was not because it was big nor popular, but because of Blue Lightning Mountain. It was just a mountain, but no one could go in usually. Only when the Blue Lightning Immortal Well was open would the city open teleportation formation to the mountain. The Blue Lightning Immortal Well was only an ordinary top-grade immortal, but its quality was very good. It was much better than other things for cultivation and breakthroughs. The only pity was that it only opened every 1,000 years and only invited 100 people in each time. Many immortals went to where demonic immortal spirit beasts were gathered and slaughtered them just for a chance to cultivate in the well. But contribution points were very hard to gather. If you never used them, then it wouldn't be hard to gather 10 million after 1,000 years, but immortals needed to cultivate. Each time they went to adventure, they would buy pills, magic artifacts, and runes. If they weren't lucky, the contribution points they gathered wouldn't even be used, and they would die. Some powerful immortals would improve their power with contribution points. Only then would they get more contribution points. Now, the Blue Lightning Mountain was about to open. Many immortals were gathered at the city. Other than the 100 who could cultivate in the immortal well, the top 1,000 on each leaderboard would be able to go in the mountain too. However, they could only search for immortal spirit herbs there. In an immortal rest tower, a few immortals were congratulating a white-faced abstruse immortal. Zhang Hong, brother, congratulations, you reached the top 50. This time you can definitely reach Great Unity Immortal after going in the Immortal Well. We'll need your help in the future. An extremely seductive female immortal got up and drank. Then the other few immortals also drank. The white-faced abstruse immortal laughed and said, "If I can really go in and reach Great Unity Immortal, I, Ji Jinhong, definitely won't forget you all. But there's still a month till the place opens. I don't know if people can surpass me." "Haha, impossible. Brother Jinhong, you know that the city made the rule 3 months before the opening of the mountain. Only those contribution points from killing demonic immortal spirit beasts will be counted. If it's obtained from some other method, it would be ineffective. It can only be used to buy things and not go into the immortal well. There's only 1 month now. The top 50 is pretty much decided." A long-bearded, abstruse immortal smiled. Ji Zhanghong clearly knew this. In order to ensure fairness, this 3-month rule was made. There were other ways around this, but there was only so much the immortal city could do. Those who could cheat would have large sums of immortal crystals and might not even be interested in ordinary immortal wells. Ji Zhanghong nodded. "Yes, but it's still better to be careful." The female immortal laughed. "Brother Zhanghong is too careful. You have 9. 46 million now. The 51st is at 8.08 million. Even a great eternity immortal wouldn't be able to kill 1 million worth of beast cores in a month, right? I feel like Brother Zhanghong is right. There are beast cores for sale in the city. If people buy it, there's still danger. But then again, even if someone buys them and beats Brother Zhanghong temporarily, it would be pointless. Brother Zhanghong is a master who almost reached the abstruse ranks. He only needs to go kill a few demonic immortal spirit beasts, and it would be enough," another dark-skinned abstruse immortal said. The female immortal shook her head. "Yes, but there isn't enough time to kill demonic immortal spirit beasts now. It has nothing to do with ability." The long-bearded, abstruse immortal smiled. "Those who have the ability to buy beast cores would have already done so already. The price of beast cores now are many times more than usual. No one would use that many immortal crystals to buy beast cores." Suddenly, Ji Jinghong's face changed. "Brother Zhanghong, what happened?" "The leaderboard is changing. Look, that Mo-ing guy," the dark-skinned abstruse immortal called out. The female immortal also stared at the leaderboard in shock. An immortal called Mo Ying's contribution points keep rising. It went up from 4 million to 6 million. It still hadn't stopped. At the rate, it would only be a matter of time before it broke through 10 million. If that happened, Ji Jinghong would be squeezed below top 50. What happened? Ji Jinghong's face looked bad. Everyone stared at the leaderboard nervously. In just a short while, Mo Ying's contribution points were 9 million or so. In just half a minute, Mo Ying would become the 50th off Heaven Immortal leaderboard. Interesting. An abstruse Immortal Peak stage saw the rising Mo Ying too. That guy is cheating, right? He bought this many beast cores? One extremely beautiful woman next to him asked. The abstruse Immortal Peak stage was dressed in blue robes and looked very handsome. A long sword hung in the air behind his back. Cheating, even if he is cheating, he's not simply to be able to get so many beast cores at this time. The abstruse Immortal laughed. Martial brother Su, if he continues like this, would he reach first and be even above you? The beautiful female Immortal asked worriedly. Su Ji smiled in contempt. So what if he's first? Using such means, he's no match for me. The female Immortal nodded and smiled sweetly. Of course, Martial Brother is top 10 in the abstruse rank of Zongpiao Heaven. If it wasn't for the blue lightning well, Martial Brother would have already reached Great Unity Immortal. However, Su Ji looked regretful. Only those with weaker foundations would fight over this. Those with more wealth wouldn't even want to come. Martial Brother, don't worry. Once you reach Great Unity Immortal in the well, you can go to a wider world. I believe with Martial Brother's power, you definitely won't stop at the Middle Heaven domain. One day, you will be able to cross the void and charge into the grand 11 heaven domains, that extremely beautiful woman said with confidence. There was certainty in Su Ji's eyes. He nodded to that female Immortal. Thank you, Martial Sister, Yan Er. Top 10 of abstruse rank in Zongpiao Heaven is nothing. Only once you enter a greater world would you be able to find what you want. There was a sliver of sadness in the female Immortal's eyes, but she immediately said happily, Martial Brother, you can do it! Ji Zhanghong looked at Mo Ying surpass him without stopping at all and clenched his fists tightly. He saved up for a few centuries, and now, at the last moment, his opportunity was taken. He's still rising. The female Immortal stared at 43rd, ranked Mo Ying, and said in shock. The long-bearded, abstruse Immortal frowned. Where did this guy come from? To buy this much beast cores at this time, how much Immortal crystals would be needed? I want to see which god this Mo Ying is. Ji Jinghong's face was green, and his jade cup was crushed. Zhan Bingyu didn't know her actions would make people so angry. Yi Mo had been in solitary cultivation for a few months. She just now remembered to send the beast cores into Yi Mo's card. In the Golden Page world, Yi Mo slowly opened his eyes and stopped the time formation disc. In the Golden Page world, Yi Mo slowly opened his eyes and stopped the time formation disc. He had cultivated an entire 40 decades in the time formation disc before recovering. Compared to before, Yi Mo was much darker and skinnier. If Zhan Bingyu didn't wake him up before, he would probably burn himself out eventually. That cultivation method was too ferocious. When he started cultivating it, he only had the primordial instinct to keep cultivating and using Heaven Flame 9 Suns. Yi Mo knew that the reason he could last a month was because the 3-birth chant kept nourishing him and supplying him with life force. Otherwise, in a few days, he would completely turn into a layer of dried skin. Yi Mo took out the jade slip of spirit will 9 transformations and burned it to pieces immediately. He knew that the problem wasn't with the spirit will 9 transformations, but there was a sliver of Tao will in the jade slip. It was even hidden in every word. When he looked at the jade slip and wanted to cultivate it, the sliver of Tao will formed a bridge with his consciousness. The Tao will then planted itself in his will and grew. The Tao Will wasn't intended to kill the cultivator, but turn the cultivator into a puppet. If someone's spirit sense grew to a certain extent, cultivating from the jade slip, the Tao would be able to affect the cultivator. However, the person behind this didn't expect someone would be able to cultivate and battle at the same time. The three-birth chant allowed Yemo to release Heaven Flame 9 Suns, while cultivating spirit will 9 transformations. The growing spirit sense couldn't last the use of Heaven Flame 9 Suns, and thus couldn't control Yemo's soul and will. It could only give Yemo the message to keep cultivating to survive. Even so, Yemo used a few decades to completely burn away that Tao will and recover his lost essence under the bitter bamboo. The Spirit Will 9 Transformations was an extremely high-level spirit sense cultivation method. Yemo was certain the cultivation method was right, but the problem was with the person who left it. Yemo definitely needed to cultivate the Spirit Will 9 Transformations, but he wasn't going to use this cultivation method. He would derive his own Spirit Will 9 Transformations. As for the person who left the jade slip behind, without a doubt it was the person who left behind the voice in the palace. That guy was definitely a powerful being. He not only had a terrifying cultivation method like the Spirit Will 9 Transformations, but could also form a palace with space law. Originally, what that guy left behind had nothing to do with him, but this Spirit Will 9 Transformations, jade, slip annoyed him. If it wasn't for Zhan Bingyu, even if he woke up, he would die to demonic, immortal spirit beast. How could he not get revenge for this? Even if he couldn't get it now, he would eventually get it. Yemo sealed the Sky Mobility Gold and the Blue Platform in the Golden Page world. They came with the jade slip. No matter if there was something wrong with them or not, he had to be careful. He didn't have time to look at them now. You're fine now. Zhan Bingyu got up in joy. She had been really worried about Yemo. Yemo seemed skinnier and darker, but he should be fine. Yemo nodded. Thank you a lot this time. If it wasn't for you, I would be dead. You saved me countless times. This is nothing. But who is that bastard you said? Zhan Bingyu asked. If I'm not wrong, it's the guy who wanted us to kneel in the palace and accept his heritage, Yemo said. Hearing this, Zhan Bingyu's face flashed with horror. If it wasn't for Yemo, she would have knelt down and accepted the heritage. What are you doing? Yemo saw the jade card in Zhan Bingyu's hand. Zhan Bingyu got up and waved it, saying, Before, I didn't have time to put the beast cores in the jade card. I could only throw them in the storage ring. I'm sending the beast cores in now to increase contribution points. How many contribution points? Yemo asked and then remembered why he even came here. How long till the opening of the Immortal Well? 11 million points now. There's still a month before the place opens. I was thinking if you still didn't come out, we wouldn't have time, Zhan Bingyu said. Yemo nodded. Okay, let's go back immediately. 11 million should be enough. Don't insert any more inside. We don't want attention. By the way, how many contribution points are left in the storage ring? Zhan Bingyu gave the jade card to Yemo and said, There's about 6 million. I'll give the storage ring to you. I have 100K in my card. Yemo waved his hand. No need. Keep it in the storage ring. If we don't have enough, we'll add more. Although he was ambushed this time, he didn't lose completely. He got 10 million contribution points from killing demonic immortal spirit beasts with Heaven Flame 9 Suns for a month. From this, it was clear that the demonic immortal spirit beasts, there were countless. It was only a matter of time before they overtook Zhong Piao Heaven. On top of that, Yemo's spirit sense rose drastically. After he burned the Tao Will, his spirit sense was almost on par with Great Extreme Immortal Tertiary Stage. Half a month later, a man and woman came to the Gulan City teleportation formation. It was Yemo and Zhan Bingyu. After the two came out, they immediately got on Blue Moon and bolted out of the Pingpiao Plains. There were some demonic immortal spirit beasts stopping them on the way, but it didn't affect them much. They immediately went on teleportation formation from the Pingpiao town to this Gulan city, and then took the teleportation formation from there to Qing Mo Immortal City. The teleportation formation was very busy and they had to line up. It had been 6 hours, and it still wasn't their turn. Just when it was about to be Emo's turn, a harsh voice sounded. "Let me go on first. I have an emergency." A red figure landed on the teleportation formation, and moments later another green figure landed next to her. There were many people lining up, but these 2 female immortals suddenly cut in line. People were immediately unhappy, but no one said anything. The green-robed female immortal was at least Great Extreme Immortal. Everyone lining up was mostly below Great Unity Immortal. Seeing this green-robed female immortal, Yumo's eyes narrowed and quickly slowed his immortal essence. To others, she may seem like a Great Extreme Immortal, but Yemo immediately knew she was an Immortal King. The Immortal King scanned across the immortals lining up and saw Yemo and Jin Bingyu. When she scanned Jin Bingyu, there was a sliver of surprise in her eyes, but soon she looked at Yemo. The Immortal King scanned across the immortals lining up and saw Yemo and Jin Bingyu. When she scanned Jin Bingyu, there was a sliver of surprise in her eyes, but soon she looked at Yemo. "You seem very nervous." The green-robed Immortal King's voice sounded by Yemo's ear. Hearing this, Yemo calmed down instead. He was certain now that even if the Immortal King scanned him with spirit sense, as long as the Immortal King didn't pressure him with spirit sense, he didn't need to worry about the Golden Page world being exposed. Yemo didn't know why the Immortal King said this to him, but luckily she didn't keep focusing on Yemo as the teleportation formation had activated. This person is probably a Great Eternity Immortal. Some people discussed. Great Eternity Immortal? Are you dumb? She's one of the 10 big Immortal Kings of Zhongpiao Heaven, Su Huan Immortal King. Luckily you didn't say much just then. She hates people gossiping. If you dared to speak, she would have shattered your brain. What? She's Su Huan Immortal King? Of course, she's going to the Qing Mo Immortal City, now, desperately, probably for the opening of the Blue Lightning Immortal Well. Yemo was just listening on the side. He didn't expect her to be one of the 10 big Immortal Kings of Zhongpiao Heaven. An hour later, Yemo and Jin Bingyu were on the streets of Qing Mo Immortal City. It was much more prosperous than Gulan Immortal City. "Where do we go?" Jin Bingyu looked at the boisterous streets and frowned. Yemo knew what she meant. Jin Bingyu didn't like to squeeze around where there were a lot of people. She liked quiet places. It's impossible to find a hotel or Immortal Rest Tower. But we have another option. We can go rent a cultivation home from the Immortal City. Yemo smiled. This was the best choice. He was going to Blue Lightning Immortal Well, but Jin Bingyu couldn't go, even if she, when it was useless. The city management was rather strict. Even if you offended high-level immortals, you would be fine as long as you didn't go outside of city, much less city-managed cultivation homes. Safety was guaranteed. The biggest auction that takes place every century in the city is about to begin. Jade slips for the auction items, just 1 contribution point, and you can get one. A few hollow immortal yelled on the streets. "Give me one." Yemo took out his jade card and bought a jade slip from the hollow immortal. He didn't want to go to the auction, but he wanted to see what was in these large-scale auctions. One would need large sums of immortal crystals or contribution points to go. He only had a few million immortal crystals and not many contribution points. After scanning it, Yemo sighed. No wonder it was the biggest auction of the century. There was everything here. High-level immortal spirit herbs, materials, top-grade flying immortal artifacts, high-level cultivation methods. No wonder so many people came to the city. It wasn't just for the Immortal Well, but also for this auction. This auction even had level 7 immortal spirit herbs and extreme grade immortal artifacts. The cultivation homes of the city were on the north side. There were no shops here, but all sorts of spirit, gathering, and defense formations. Irrelevant people couldn't even get near. This was the city's main source of income. Yi Mo and Zhan Bingyu were stopped by a golden immortal. Halt! This is Immortal Cultivation Home area. Yi Mo saluted with his fists. I know, we came to rent a cultivation home. The golden immortal said apologetically, the cultivation homes here have all been rented out. Sorry, this made Yi Mo frown. If they didn't have a place to stay, they couldn't sleep on the streets. If it was outside, he could set up his own cultivation home, but in here it was impossible. Yi Mo took out 1,000 immortal crystals to the golden immortal. Friend, can you help? The golden immortal pushed the immortal crystals away reluctantly. It's not that I don't want to help, but the cultivation homes here have all been rented out. If there were free ones, I wouldn't stop you on purpose, and I don't dare to. Yi Mo still pushed the 1,000 immortal crystals to the golden immortal. Help me keep a lookout. If there's a free cultivation home, rent it for me first. The golden immortal knew that even if a cultivation home freed up, it wouldn't be his turn to make the decision. But these 1,000 immortal crystals were free. You want to rent cultivation home? A crisp voice sounded. A blue-dressed female immortal appeared next to Yi Mo and Zhen Bingyu. Yes, Qian Bei. This female immortal was a great unity immortal. Yi Mo quickly bowed. The blue-robed female immortal looked at Zhen Bingyu and said, Such a pretty immortal, I'll help you once. I'm going to leave the city, and my rent period is up. You guys can have it. Thank you, Qian Bei. Zhen Bingyu reacted quickly and bowed. No need. Let's go. I'll help you do the procedures. Otherwise, as soon as I leave, it would be rented away. It's useless to ask this small golden immortal. The immortal waved her hand. There was an awkward look on the golden immortal's face, but he used the opportunity to explain the rules to Yi Mo. There were 4 types of cultivation home: top, middle, low, and special. The female immortal rented a top-grade home. It was 500k immortal crystals a year. This was high-priced even for great immortals. It would be much cheaper to pay with contribution points, however. Yi Mo had some immortal crystals, so he rented for 10 years. As for contribution points, he didn't use them. Seeing Yi Mo just take out millions and renting for a decade, she looked at Yi Mo with some surprise. After the blue-robed female immortal moved away, Yi Mo and Zhan Bingyu came to the cultivation home. They were very happy with this place. This cultivation home was large and had a garden. There were cultivation rooms, bedrooms, pet rooms, side rooms. There was also a guest greeting room. There were low-level immortal spirit herbs planted outside and a pond. The level 3 immortal spirit gathering formation made the immortal spirit chi here very dense. The defense formation was level 4 immortal formation. This 5 million is very worth. Yi Mo nodded. Yes, I really like it here too. That Qian Bei was right. If we weren't lucky, we wouldn't be able to rent this place. Zhen Bingyu agreed. It's a pity in such a good environment I can't even cultivate. Zhen Bingyu sighed. The immortal spirit chi here was much better than even extreme sword sect. Yi Mo didn't know how to comfort her. After being with her for so long, it was impossible that he didn't care about her at all. Don't worry, I'm just exclaiming. The cultivation method you gave it very good. I can feel a sliver of immortal essence now. Zhan Bingyu immediately knew what Yi Mo thought and quickly added. Yi Mo shook his head. He knew that if her spirit roots couldn't recover, she couldn't cultivate. That way, he couldn't leave her behind. You stay at the main cultivation room. I'll go to the side room. Zhan Bingyu said, feeling what she said before was inappropriate. No, you use the main cultivation room. This cultivation home isn't rented for us too, Yi Mo said. Zhan Bingyu was dazed and asked, Then where are you going? Yi Mo wasn't going to go somewhere, at least not very far, before the opening of the immortal well. He just wanted to tell Zhen Bingyu that he was going to the marketplace, but he really just wanted to go see if there are any news of recovering spirit roots there. It was slim, but better than doing nothing. Yi Mo wasn't going to go somewhere, at least not very far, before the opening of the immortal well. He just wanted to tell Zhen Bingyu that he was going to the marketplace, but he really just wanted to go see if there are any news of recovering spirit roots there. It was slim, but better than doing nothing. He set up another trap and attack formation at the cultivation home before going on to the streets again. In the city square, Yi Mo looked at his ranking. 11 million contribution points. Ranked 41st on the Heaven Immortal leaderboard. The first on the leaderboard was 16 million. It wasn't Suji, but Chu Xiangzi. Yi Mo didn't care who was first. He felt very safe with his rank. He believed that no matter how he dropped, he wouldn't go below top 50 in this half-month. Yi Mo still had a few million more beast cores. Altogether, he would have nearly 16 million, but Yi Mo didn't dare to use it. If he used too much and couldn't stay in top 50, then it would be bad. Yi Mo walked around in the marketplace and the merchant towers, but didn't buy anything. He just wanted to see if there was news of clear mind spirit or any immortal spirit herb that could repair spirit root. However, he was unlucky. He had been to a few marketplaces and tens of merchant towers, but every time he asked about spirit root recovery pill and immortal spirit herbs, people looked at him like he was an idiot. Even if there was such a pill, would an abstruse immortal be able to afford it? Luckily, he didn't ask for Clear Mind Lotus, or people would take him for a madman. After one day, Yi Mo was not only tired but also disappointed. When Yi Mo walked out another merchant tower, he was stopped by an abstruse immortal primary stage. "Immortal friend, please hold up." Yi Mo turned back and looked at him in confusion. "You have some business with me?" The abstruse immortal primary stage. "That's right. I heard you were searching everywhere for spirit root recovery immortal spirit herb and pills. You have it?" Yi Mo subconsciously asked, but then immediately became wary. "I don't," the abstruse immortal said. Yi Mo frowned, but said nothing. The abstruse immortal primary stage continued. "I don't have this immortal pill, but I have the news of a level 6 immortal spirit herb spirit red lotus." Then he looked at Yi Mo's expression, wanting to see what Yi Mo thought. Yi Mo knew spirit red lotus, of course. It was a level 6 immortal spirit herb. It could be used to concoct the clear disaster pill to purify spirit root and stabilize essence spirit. It would also increase chances of reaching great immortal. The spirit red lotus was good, but it was a far cry compared to Clear Mind Lotus. It was not very useful to Zhen Bingyu. "This thing has no use for me. It's just an immortal spirit herb for concocting clear disaster pills. I don't need it." Yi Mo waved his hand. "Don't be in a rush to reject. It's useless to you, but it's useful to Immortal Forest Tower." "What has this got to do with me?" "Of course it does. Immortal Forest Tower has a level 7 immortal pill spirit recovery golden pill. It's said that it has some use for recovering spirit roots. The Immortal Forest Tower made a restriction. That is, if you want to buy the pill, you must have Spirit Red Lotus. Spirit Recovery Golden Pill. I asked a few pill towers how come none of them knows anything about Spirit Root Recovery pills? It's very simple because they think you can't afford it." Yi Mo frowned. He was an immortal pill great master, but he had never heard of some Spirit Recovery Golden Pill. "If you don't want it, I'm going." The abstruse immortal saw Yi Mo frowned, so he laughed. "How many immortal crystals?" Yi Mo asked. 10,000 contribution points, the abstruse immortal said. "Too expensive." Yi Mo turned to leave. He felt this guy was unreliable. He was going to confirm at the pill tower if there was the Spirit Recovery Golden Pill. Seeing this, the abstruse immortal added, "Lowest 5,000 contribution points. If not them, I'm going." He was about to leave. Yi Emo saw this and stopped him. Tell me the news, and I'll give you 500 contribution points. Regardless if this guy was a liar, Yi Emo didn't care about 500 contribution points. It would be bad to miss it, but if this guy didn't agree, then never mind. Deal. Unexpectedly, this abstruse immortal primary stage took out a tattered jade slip to Yi Emo without hesitation. Yi Emo felt he was tricked, but since he agreed, he couldn't regret. He could only swipe 500 contribution points to this abstruse immortal primary stage. Seeing that Yi Emo's jade card was yellow, he smiled. He was very satisfied. How many immortal crystals could a yellow jade card immortal have? To be able to trick 500 contribution points from him was all his skill. The abstruse immortal primary stage immediately disappeared after getting the contribution points. Friend, you got scammed. Wang Lu is the biggest scammer here, a good-hearted abstruse immortal tertiary stage said. Thank you. Yi Emo heard this and knew he might have really been scammed, but this jade slip seemed a little broken. It didn't seem to be newly made to trick people. Yi Emo's spirit sense scanned inside. He immediately saw an immortal spirit herb. The image was very obfuscated, and so were the writing. The location was very obscure too, Kongji Ranges. That was around 100,000 kilometers from here, not too far. But the range was big. How could he know where the spirit red lotus was? The image was so obscure that Wang Lu outlined it before it could be seen clearly. He didn't look at the outline. He wanted to forcefully see if this was spirit red lotus before being outlined. Other people wouldn't be able to do this, but his spirit sense was something else. When Yi Emo fuzzily saw the original image, his hands almost shook, nearly crushing this jade slip. Was I thinking too much? Yi Emo put away the jade slip, still feeling his hands were shaky. He clearly saw a clear mind lotus, not spirit red lotus. These two looked similar, but red lotus was dark red while clear mind lotus was snow white. One was level 6, immortal spirit, herb 1, had no level. Yi Emo had decided to go see. There was still half a month before the Blue Lightning Mountain opened. He could check it out. Thinking about this, Yi Emo had decided to leave the city. He would find a quiet place to study this jade slip first. Yi Emo sped out of Qing Emo Immortal City, and just when he wanted to find a place, a blue figure dashed out of the city quickly and left on the flying magic artifact. Yi Emo recognized this figure. It was the kind-hearted great extreme immortal that rented them the cultivation home. She didn't go very far, and a gray figure came out. He took out a mirror and scanned before releasing his flying magic artifact, following to the direction the female immortal disappeared to. It was another great extreme immortal. Yi Emo hesitated for a moment and followed over with Blue Moon. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.